A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Kroger Tender Ray Beef, no other beef so fresh, can be so tender, presents Hearts in Harmony, transcribed. K is for Kroger, C is for cut, B is for beef. KCB means Kroger cut beef, and Kroger cut beef means more meat for your money. Remember that fact, ladies. Remember that Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste, and for this reason. Before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. Yes, that's before the meat is weighed and priced. And listen, you get the top U.S. government grades of beef. Yes, it's tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. So you get better value in top-grade beef. Let's take a Kroger cut chuck roast as an example. Before the roast is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess waste and stringy meat. You're bound to get a better value because you get more solid meat, only a minimum of bone. No matter which you prefer, steak or roast, you receive more meat, less waste in Kroger cut beef. But make that discovery for yourself. Visit your neighborhood Kroger store and make it a rule to buy Kroger cut beef. It gives you more meat for your money. And now, Hearts in Harmony. When Freddy Lang left the house, he told Penny Gibbs he was on his way to the farm. But several hours later, Freddy's father-in-law, Paul Williams, phoned to ask where Freddy was. No more has been heard from Freddy since morning. So when the phone rings in the Gibbs home, Nora, Freddy's wife, rushes anxiously to answer it.
Hello?
Hello, Nora.
Oh, Freddy, where are you?
Well, I'm not at the farm, Nora. I took a shortcut and had engine trouble out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, crickets, I'm glad that's all it was. I was thinking awful things.
I'm sorry I worried you, Nora. I guess Dad called and wondered why I wasn't at the farm, huh?
Yes, he did. I wasn't here, but Penny answered the phone and told me all about it as soon as I got back. Where are you now?
Well, I'm on my way back to the car. I had to walk almost all the way back to town to get a part that broke. That's what was wrong with the engine. I tried to fix it out there on the road until I found a part that was broken, and that's what took me so long. I didn't know that Dad would phone or I'd have...
It doesn't matter now, darling, as long as you're all right.
Yeah, sure, I'm okay. And tell Penny I'm okay, too, will you? I guess I'm worrying everybody these days, huh?
Oh, we worry about you because we love you, Freddy.
Thanks a lot. Why anybody loves a jerk like me, I'll never know. Guess you must be all nuts.
Only about you, darling. Are you coming home as soon as you get the car fixed?
Well, not right away, no, Nora. I think I better go on out to the farm. And if Dad calls again, tell him I'll be there in about an hour, huh?
All right, I'll tell him. I think he is going to call back.
Good. I probably got him worried, too, eh? Well, I'll see you later, darling.
Bye, Freddy.
Bye now.
Oh, you made that short and sweet, darling?
Yeah, Helen, good and short. Because I don't like to lie to my wife.
You don't like me, you don't like lying, you don't like this, you don't like that. What do you like?
I like being left alone. And I like people to keep their promises, too.
Meaning?
Helen, you know what I mean. You said you'd get out of town if I gave you money. Well, I gave you money.
And you're going to give me more.
I don't have any more.
Well, there's a lot of it around. You used to know how to get it when there was a lot of it around.
I've learned a new way to get it. Work for it. And that's what I do for my money now.
Well, you don't make enough to suit me. When do I get more?
You don't.
Freddie, you don't want trouble from me, do you?
No, Trouble from you? What do you call what I'm getting from you right now?
Not trouble, Freddie. Not trouble compared to what you'll get if I don't get what I want.
Well, if what you want is money, go get it from somebody else. I'm as good as broke.
I don't care if you're starving.
Helen, I'm not thinking about myself. It's Nora. A wife costs money even if she does work. And we're going to have a baby, too. Nora has to have lots of things, and we have to save what we can for the baby.
Of all the ham speeches I've heard, that's the hammiest. Wait till I give you some little hearts and flowers music, and maybe you'll make me cry.
Look, Helen, don't get me sore. I'm liable to do something we'll both be sorry for.
You're not going to do anything but get me money. And all the money I want. no matter what you have to do for it.
I'm not turning crooked for you or anybody else.
You've turned rover boy in the worst way, ain't you?
I'm not the punk I used to be when you knew me, Helen. At least I'm trying not to be.
You're still no good, Freddy. You always were and you always will be. Ain't you the guy who said he'd never do a lick of work in his life?
Yes, that was before I found out that it's fun to work. It's fun when you've got something and somebody to work for.
Oh, it's that old squeeze, huh? Oh, for the wife and kiddies, eh?
Look, Helen, let me show you something. It's a picture of Nora. And there, look at that. Look at that face. Do you blame me for wanting to be a good guy?
Hey, she's all right, isn't she?
Sure is, Helen.
Long blonde hair, nice big blue eyes, soft, sweet face.
Mm-hmm.
Is she really this good to look at?
Oh, she's better than that. Most beautiful girl I've ever known.
Yeah, she sure is a looker.
Hey, that's the only picture I've got. Don't tear it up.
Well, it's already torn up. And this is what I'll do to that sweet face of hers if I have to.
Helen, you lay a hand on Nora and I'll be...
Now, don't go making threats, darling. Or you'll do something we'll both be sorry for. Remember? Here. Here's your wife's picture. Don't say I didn't give the pieces back to you.
Thanks.
And don't forget to tell her why it's torn up and who did it.
Nora doesn't know anything about you, and she's not going to know anything about you.
Why not? Ashamed of me?
Nora doesn't know that people like you exist, and I don't want her to know it.
She knows you exist, doesn't she? And she knows what kind of a guy you are. Or, doesn't she?
She knows what I am, and she knows what I was.
I'll bet. Well, little Helen could tell her a thing or two that little Freddy, just forgot to mention.
I've told her everything.
Everything? About stealing?
Yes, everything.
About going to jail?
Yes, about going to jail and getting out and then going back again.
And about us?
I've told her that I've done a barrel full of dumb things in my life, Helen. And that included liking you.
And promising to marry me?
For Pete's sake, Helen. What did I know about getting married when I promised that? I was just a dumb kid.
And
I didn't know
you're still a dumb kid if you think you're going to live on Easy Street while I go around bumming nickels and dimes for a living.
Well, you can go to work the way I have.
What can I do? Plow fields? Oh, no. No, little Helen don't like work. But she likes to live and eat. And you're going to see that she does. I want money, Freddy, lots of it. Or maybe I'll get lonesome and pay your wife a little social call.
Please, Helen. Stay away from Nora.
Why? Are you afraid of what I'll tell her?
You know I am. Please, Helen, look. Give me a break, will you? I've never done anything to hurt you.
You ain't done much to help me either.
I've helped you all I can.
The big businessman thinks a few bucks is help, huh?
I did the best I could. What little money I have in the bank now I need for Nora and the baby and the farm.
I don't give two pins for your Nora, your baby, or your farm. All I care about is Helen. Helen, understand me. I want $1,000.
$1,000? Oh, look, Helen.
$1,000, Rover boy. And get it up, see?
Helen, I don't have 1,000. You might just as well stop now trying to get it.
Okay. You're going to the farm from here, huh?
I've got to.
We'll have a nice time behind the plow. Well, think I'll put on my face and go see your wife.
Helen, I'm warning you. You stay away from Nora. I don't want you to go near her.
Warning me? Why, Freddy, that sounds like a threat. But I'm not afraid of threats. Not one bit afraid of threats.
No? Well, get this. You just try once to see Nora, Helen Burroughs, and I'll kill you.
You'll kill me? Why, Freddy, you...
Don't laugh, Helen. Don't laugh, because I mean it. I'll kill you. So you better get out of Roswell before they slip you out the back.
Hello?
Nora, this is Penny.
Oh, Penny, I heard from Freddy a little while ago.
Oh, darling, I'm glad. That was my reason for phoning. Is he all right?
Yes, he had trouble with the car and the shortcut to the farm.
I told you there wasn't anything to worry about, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. Oh, but Cricket, I just couldn't keep from thinking awful things.
Well, maybe this will teach you not to think things like that. Nora, I'm taking the bus for home now. Do you need anything?
No, I got everything I needed this morning.
Well, I'll be home in about half an hour unless I miss my bus.
Oh, dinner will be for another half hour yet.
Good. I'm glad Freddy's all right. Well, I'll see you in a while. Bye.
Bye, Penny.
Oh, darn.
Hey, Gibbsy.
Freddy, this is lucky. I just missed my bus.
Yeah, and I almost went through a red light. Going home?
Yes, I am.
Come on, hop in.
Thanks.
That's where I'm heading, too.
Oh,
All set?
yeah, thanks.
I hear I had you and Nora upset again today, huh? I'm not doing so well, am I?
Well, we did wonder why you didn't show up at the farm.
Did Nora tell you it was engine trouble?
Yeah.
Ah, you can't say this isn't the longest red light in town, can you?
You just getting in from the farm, Freddy?
Yeah.
Oh.
I get it, Gibbsy. You wonder why I'm on this side of town when the highway to the farm is on the other side, huh?
No, it isn't my business.
Well, I had to attend to a little matter over here before I went home, that's all.
Look, Freddy, you don't have to explain to me.
Well, look, I don't want you to think I'm pulling a fast one on anybody, Penny. And you remember yesterday when I said that I had my problem licked?
Yes?
Well, it hit back today. Now it's licking me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be sorry if I can't do something about it.
Look, Freddy, I will ask one question. But you don't have to answer it. You're in trouble over some girl, aren't you?
Huh? Well, what makes you think that?
Because I remember that phone call. I answered the phone. Freddy, it was a girl asking for you, and you told me not to say anything to Nora about it. Well, she is the reason for your trouble, isn't she?
Yeah, Gibbsy. Yeah, she sure is the reason.
I see. Can I help you in any way?
No, there's nothing you can do. Thanks just the same. Penny, this dame is just too rough for you.
Freddy, I was smart enough to know that she was the cause of your troubles. Maybe I'm smart enough to handle her.
Yeah?
Yeah. Think about it a while, will you? Because if you need help, you know I'll give you all I can.
Thanks a lot, Penny. I'll think it over, too. The question is, though, if you try to help me out of a jam, will you end up in a jam yourself? And you know what? I think the answer is yes.
Freddy has begun to confide in Penny. Will this aid him in his attempt to protect Nora? Or will Penny try to help and only make matters worse? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony. KCB. KCB. KCB means Kroger cut beef, and Kroger cut beef means more meat for your money. Right. Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. Because before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. Take a Kroger cut round steak or roast, for example. The Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess waste and stringy meat before the steak or roast is weighed and priced. You get a minimum of bone, and you get top U.S. government grades of beef. Beef that's tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. But visit your neighborhood Kroger store and see for yourself. Remember, whether you buy a steak or a roast, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat for your money. Ladies, make plans right this instant to visit your neighborhood Kroger store, the only place you can buy Kroger cut beef. Surprise and delight your family with a delicious and juicy steak or roast. And remember, in Kroger cut beef, you get more meat for your money, because the Kroger method of cutting beef gives you more meat, less waste. Make it a rule to get Kroger cut beef at your neighborhood Kroger store. Be sure to join us again tomorrow, same time, same station, for another thrilling transcribed chapter of Hearts in Harmony.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. An attractive divorcee disappears from her home. There's no lead to her whereabouts. There's evidence of foul play. Your job? Find her.
document a drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, June 10th. It was mild in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 11:15 a.m. when we got to 2962 Reservoir Street. Front door.
You the policeman?
Yes, ma'am. Miss Harrison?
That's right. Come on in.
Thank you. My partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Oh, how do you do?
you, ma'am?
I was expecting you.
Yes, ma'am.
Other officers said there'd be somebody here from the detectives to see me. You men from the detectives?
That's right, Miss Harrison.
I got some coffee on if you'd like a cup while we talk.
No, thank you.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. You want to sit down there? We can get started on this.
All right.
I made some little notes this morning after the other policeman left. I thought it might help me to remember.
Uh-huh.
They didn't find anything when they went to Josephine's house, did they?
No, they haven't. What if you tell us what you know about her disappearance?
I'd be glad to. Last time I saw her was Friday. The 6th, last Friday.
Mm-hmm. Where was that?
Out in her yard. She was hanging up clothes, and we got to talking, about neighborhood stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
We talked for a little while, her hanging up clothes, and I was working around the yard.
Did there seem to be anything wrong then?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, did she seem upset about anything?
Well, not that she told me about. We were pretty close. She told me just about everything happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
When her and Jordan were still married, we used to get together all the time, have a little barbecue, maybe take in the drive-in movie.
That's her husband?
Yeah, Jordan Allen.
She's divorced then?
Yeah. I got the interlocutory about 6 months ago. Not final yet.
Where's Mr. Allen now?
Well, the last I heard, he was working down San Diego.
Do you know where we might get in touch with him?
Well, not right off. Must be some letters over to Josephine's, though. He was always writing her.
Was there any trouble between them?
They got a divorce.
Well, that's not what I mean. I mean after. Did they have any arguments, any disagreements?
Oh, off and on. Jordan wanted to get back together again, always asking her to call off the decree.
Mm-hmm. Did he see her often?
I don't think they got together in the last couple of months. I know Josephine got some phone calls from him, though.
From San Diego?
Yeah.
Did Mrs. Allen say anything to you about taking vacation, anything like that?
No, if she'd had anything like that in mind, she'd have told me. We were pretty close.
Did she have any men friends that you know of?
Oh, she's a handsome woman, Mr. Friday. She had a lot of them.
Well, did she see any one person more than the others, would you know?
David Lansing. They used to go out quite a bit. I think David wanted to marry her as soon as the divorce was final.
Has he been around lately, would you know?
Not since Josephine disappeared.
How about before that?
I had a date with her the very night before. Went out to dinner and then went dancing.
Any trouble between them, would you know?
I don't want to get mixed up in anything, Mr. Friday. You can understand that, can't you?
Yes, ma'am, we can, but if you know anything about Mrs. Allen's disappearance, we'll have to ask that you tell us.
It's just that I don't want David to find out about it.
Well, he won't hear it from us.
That's a promise?
Yes, ma'am.
How about you?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then, if you ask me, I'd say that David had something to do with Josephine's being gone.
Why do you say that?
Because they were always fighting. I could hear them all the way over here.
What'd they argue about, you know?
Well, David wanted to marry her. And she wouldn't tell him whether she would or not until after the divorce was final. The way she put it, until she got the papers, she was still a married woman.
Lansing didn't like that, huh?
No, not a bit. About 10 days ago, I was over there. My TV was on the blank, and I went over to see one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
David was there, and it wasn't no time before they was at it, yelling and screaming. Kind of made me embarrassed. That's when he said it.
What was that?
Said for Josephine to get rid of Jordan, or David would get rid of her.
We continued to question the Harrison woman about Mrs. Allen. She could give us no reason for her disappearance. Frank and I left and went next door. We checked through the house. It was exactly the way the two uniformed officers had found it that morning. The shades on all of the windows were drawn. None of the furniture seemed to be disturbed. There was no sign of a struggle. On the dining room table, there was a setting for two people. Silverware, napkins, glasses. They're all ready to be used. On the plates themselves was a complete meal. None of the food had been touched. We looked for Mrs. Allen's luggage. There was no way of being sure, but apparently none of her things had been taken. We went on through the house and out into the backyard. There was no sign of anything wrong out there either.
Sure doesn't figure, does it?
Well,
Table all set, food, none of it touched.
well, there's an answer someplace.
Yeah.
Let's check the garage.
All right.
I get it.
fine here.
You want to check the stuff at the back?
Yeah.
Trunk here. Look at this. Looks like stains of some kind.
Better take a look, huh? The way it's wrapped up, they're going to mail it.
Labels and everything here.
Rope. You got anything to cut this with?
Might be something here. Here, we can try this.
Oh, thanks.
Keep those knots.
Yeah. Here. Give me a hand with the lock, will you?
Yeah. It's coming out. There we are. All right. We know where she is.
Yeah.
Let's find out who put her there. The crew from the crime lab was called, and they came out to go over the house and the garage. Frank and I called the office and told them what we'd found. We checked the labels on the trunk. They were addressed to a David Lansing on Rowena Avenue out in Glendale. We went back to the woman who put in the original call. From her, we got a complete description of Lansing, and we called it into the office. We found that he had an arrest record listing several drunk charges and 2 major 415s, fights. While the men from the crime lab continued their investigation on the scene, Frank and I drove over to see Lansing. He wasn't home. We talked to his landlady, but she told us that she hadn't seen him in several days. She was unable to tell us where he was employed. We checked his room and questioned her about his car. She gave us the name and business address of his roommate. We drove over to see him. He worked in a large television store on Pico Boulevard.
Yes, sir. Something I can do for you?
I'd like to see Mark Gilson.
That's me.
Police officers, Mr. Gilson. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Freddy.
How are you? What can I do for you?
We'd like to ask you a couple questions about David Lansing.
Dave in trouble again?
Do you know where he is?
No, I haven't seen him for a couple of days.
You have no idea where you can find him?
Well, if I had, you'd sure get it. Say, can you tell me what this is all about?
It'd be better if we talked to Lansing about it.
Yeah, if he's in the beef again, I'd just as soon stay out of it. Won't make me unhappy.
When did you see him last?
The day?
That's it.
Well, let me see. I guess it was Friday night.
He say anything to you that might give us a lead as to where we can find him?
No, I was home when he came in. He was pretty bugged about something.
Do you know what it was?
Only a couple of things ever got Dave upset, his boss or his girl.
Do you know his girl?
No, never met her. Dave was all the time talking about how we were going to get together some night, have dinner, take in a few places. We never quite got around to it, though.
Uh-huh. Can you ever say anything about her?
No, not much. He was pretty crazy about her, wanted to marry her just as soon as her divorce was final.
What was he mad about when you saw him last, you know?
Well, I guess it was Josephine. That's his girl.
Yeah, we know.
And he was sore about her. She's got this husband down south someplace. I don't know, either San Pedro or San Diego, somewhere down there.
Yeah?
He was trying to get Josephine to come back to him, call off the divorce. He's always calling about it, trying to see her. Made Dave sore. The way he put it, he and Joe had gotten into a beef about it that day.
Mm-hmm. That was Friday?
Yeah. He had a couple of drinks before he got home, and while he was there and we were talking, he had a couple more. Got pretty mean.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Dave doesn't drink too good. All he needs is a couple. He thinks he can lick the world. He gets pretty mean. I don't like to have him around when he's loaded.
Did you give you any idea where he was going?
No, I left him at the apartment.
What time was that?
Oh, I don't know. About 6:30, around in there. I had a date with the girl. She lives out in the Santa Monica Canyon. Takes about an hour to drive out there. I left about 6:30 because I met this girl at 7:30.
Lansing was still in the apartment, huh?
Yeah. He's just sitting there pouring the booze away. I told him take it easy, slow down. He said for me not to worry. Said he had to decide on something. I figured it was about Josephine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dave really loved that girl. All this stuff with her ex-husband was just eating at him. I guess he was just trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing about Dave. It takes him a while to make up his mind about what to do, but once he decides, there's anything that can stop him.
That's so.
Oh, yeah. It takes him a while, but he's always right.
No, not always.
What do you mean?
Looks like you missed this time. Frank and I went back to the office. We got out a local broadcast and an ATV on David Lansing, along with the information on his automobile. We made arrangements for a stakeout to be placed on his home. A call was put through to the firm who employed him, but they told us that he hadn't shown up for work that week. Frank and I went back to the crime lab, and we met with Lieutenant Lee Jones. He went over the physical evidence found at the murder scene. The trunk itself had been checked over, as well as the ropes it was tied with and the mailing label. There was nothing about the trunk to tell where it might have come from. The rope was of a common variety that could be purchased anywhere. The knots, however, were of a type generally used by seamen to secure heavy articles. We made arrangements to obtain samples of Lansing's handwriting for comparison with the writing on the label. The evidence was marked and booked. The next morning, Frank and I met with Captain Lorman, and we went over what we had. It was decided that in David Lansing we had a prime suspect. After we left the city hall, we started to check out the people listed in Lansing's package as friends or acquaintances. First one we talked to was a Miss Dodie Fredericks.
Honey, he's a bum.
Well, how long have you known him?
About 10 years we went together. Even thought about getting married. It was all a big deal. Right now, I don't much care if I never see him again.
When did you see him last?
Let's see. I guess it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday night.
What was last week?
That's right. He came in the place. We talked.
What place?
Bar over on 6th. I worked there as a sort of hostess.
What did Lansing say when you saw him?
Not much. I did most of the talking, just like usual.
Mm-hmm.
Just came in, sat in a booth. Always sits in a booth. Ordered a drink, and we talked. It was kind of slow, so we just sat and talked.
What'd you talk about?
The old days. I'm not going to give you a line. I was in love with Dave, always was, right from the first time I saw him. I wanted to marry him. Everything was going good until he met this Allen broad.
All right.
All of a sudden, he figures I ain't good enough for him or something like that. Anyway, he drops me right in the middle of the street, takes off.
You say anything about Mrs. Allen Saturday night?
Honey, he don't talk much else. All the time it's what she said or what she did. All the time that way.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think she was the Taj Mahal or something the way he talked about her.
Yeah, but what did he say Saturday night?
Just about old Josephine. I tell you, I'm so sick of that name I could scream. Big deal with him, too. He's always around her, but when he's got a problem, who do you think he comes running to?
We wouldn't know.
I'll tell you, me. She gives him the bad time, and he comes to me to get over it. Always been like that. Meets some girl, and right away it's the real thing. Always ends up the same way. He comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Thinks he's a real big man all the time with the chicks. One of these days, I'm going to tell him that. Tell him to leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Going to tell him as soon as he comes back.
What do you mean?
Hmm?
About when he comes back. You know where he is?
No, but when he was in here Saturday, he was broke. Borrowed $30 from me.
Yeah.
Said he had to leave town.
We continued to talk to Dodie Fredericks. We got as much information as we could from her. She told us that Lansing had said he was going to San Francisco. We asked her if he had any friends in the Bay City. She supplied us a list of names. We went back to the office and got in touch with the authorities in San Francisco and asked them to check on the suspect for us. We put in a call to the coroner's office. The body had been posted and the time of death was set at some time Friday night. We checked out the rest of Lansing's friends and associates without result. We re-questioned the suspect's roommate and we went over his apartment again, but we failed to turn up any evidence that might aid us in taking him into custody. 2 days passed. Saturday, June 14th. Frank and I checked in for work.
How's it going, Joe?
All right.
Say, you got a date tonight?
What was that?
I say you got a date tonight.
What do you mean?
Well, I just wondered if maybe you'd like to drop over for dinner. You know, kind of sit around, talk.
Well, I didn't have anything planned.
Good. When it's all set, I'll give Faye a call.
Okay. I get it. Homicide, Friday. Yeah. When'd you get him? Be right over. Right. Come on. We got to get over to the main jail.
What's the matter?
They found Lansing. We went over to the main jail and picked up David Lansing. He'd been arrested that morning and booked for drunk, violation of Section 4127A of the Los Angeles Municipal Code. As soon as the officers at the jail had made sure of his identity, they called us. He was taken back to the city hall to handwriting. An exemplar of his handwriting was taken for comparison with the printing on the label found on the trunk. Frank and I took the suspect back to the interrogation room for questioning. He was fairly sober, but he complained of a bad headache. Frank went down the hall and brought back some coffee. We told Lansing of Josephine Allen's death. It didn't seem to make any difference to him.
It's hot.
You get it down, it'll help you.
Isn't anything that'll do me any good. I just got to wait it out.
All right, Lansing, you want to tell us why you did it? You want to tell us why you killed Josephine Allen?
I'd like to help you out. There's only one problem. I didn't do it.
Well, the evidence doesn't point that way.
Well, you better take another look.
Were you in the service, Lansing?
No, I got deferred. Bad ear.
You ever do any work in the Merchant Marine?
No. I get sick on the boats at MacArthur Park.
Never did any sea duty, huh?
No. I'm the kind of fellow that can only take a shower.
Yeah?
Note for you, Freddy.
Thanks. Right?
Yeah.
I'll step out here.
What do you got?
Note here from Don Meyer.
Yeah.
They checked the exemplars of Lansing against the label on the trunk.
Yeah.
No match at all. Kind of looks like we might have the wrong man.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
The information from Handwriting Division on the results of the comparison made it possible that we had the wrong suspect in custody. The main two pieces of physical evidence we had were the knots used in tying the rope around the trunk and the label. On both counts, apparently David Lansing was out. We sent out for more coffee for the suspect, and we continued to question him.
Look, I'll spell it out for you. I didn't have anything to do with killing her.
You saw her Friday, didn't you?
Yeah, but that don't mean I killed her.
Well, tell us what happened when you saw her.
From where?
From when she opened the door.
I went over to see her about 7:30.
Friday night?
Yeah, I went over to try to talk some sense into her.
Were you two having trouble?
Yeah.
About what?
The same thing all the time. I loved her. I loved her a lot. I wanted to marry the girl. All the time his ex-husband's hanging around, trying to get her to come back. I had a belly full. I wanted to get things straightened out, so I went to see her.
Yeah.
I didn't call and tell her. She was pretty hacked about it. Said I should have called. She got real sore.
Mm-hmm.
I asked her what was wrong. She never acted like that before. I wanted to know what the beef was.
All right.
So she filled me in on how Jordan was coming up from San Diego. They had some things to talk about. Big deal. All the time they were talking. Him trying to get her to come back. Got to the point where I didn't know where I stood.
Mm-hmm.
She told me to come in, but she said I couldn't stay long because she was expecting Jordan. Said he was coming up for dinner.
Mm.
I told her I wanted to marry her. I told her to make up her mind once and for all not to keep me on the string anymore.
What'd she say?
Told me to call her Saturday morning. Said she'd have something to tell me then. Go ahead. The way she put it, things were going to work out. After we talked for a little bit, I left. She told me she didn't want me there when the ex got to the place.
What time did you leave?
I don't know.
Well, you must have some kind of an idea.
Well, maybe 7:30 or 8, around in there. I'm not sure. I was pretty sore when I walked out. I didn't pay a lot of attention.
Where'd you go then?
I went home for a while. I sat around, then I went over to see a guy I know runs a little club on Alvarado. We sat there until the place closed, and after that I went home with him.
Why didn't you go on to your place?
No reason. He lived pretty close. We spent the night there.
Why'd you stop going to work?
What?
We checked with the place where you work. They say you haven't been to work this week.
I guess that's because I couldn't get in touch with Josephine.
How do you mean that?
I tried to call her Saturday morning. I didn't get any answer, so I figured that Jordan had talked her into coming back. I just went out on a run.
Did you try to see her? Well, did you go over to the house and try to see her?
Yeah, I went over Saturday night. There wasn't any answer. Shades were all pulled down. I figured sure she'd left town.
What'd you do?
Went down to a bar on 6th. Saw a girl I know. We talked. And I guess I got pretty loaded. Next couple of days are kind of foggy.
You ever met Jordan Allen?
Yeah, once. Put it down that we didn't get along too good.
You know anything about him?
What do you mean?
Well, what kind of business is he in?
I think it's some kind of photography thing. He sells cameras or something like that.
You know anything about his background?
Not much. I only met the guy once. We didn't get along too good then. Near as I can remember from what Josephine told me, he worked on a boat.
Yeah.
Merchant marine for about 6 years.
You sure about that?
It's what I heard. Take it from there.
All right, we'll do that.
It's going to make a difference?
It might to you.
How do you figure?
You're lucky you get seasick. The suspect was returned to the main jail where he was held to answer on the drunk charge. We got in touch with Sergeant Tony McGuire down in San Diego and asked him to check on the victim's husband. Frank and I met with Chief of Detectives Thad Brown and Captain Warman. We laid out the information we'd been able to come up with. They agreed that we should drive to the Southland City and talk to Jordan Allen. We checked out a trip car and we drove down to talk to him. We found him at his home, a small clapboard house on B Street. From the way he looked, he'd been in bed when we rang the bell.
Come on in. What do you want to see me about?
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
About what?
When's the last time you saw your wife?
Why?
We'd like to have an answer.
I don't know. Maybe a couple weeks ago.
Bring it down to a day, will you?
Why?
Pretty important to you.
Why to me?
You lay it out any way you want, mister. We asked it simple. You can give us the same kind of an answer now.
Look, you come in here. You're not from Dago. You got no right asking me anything.
Local authorities know we're here. Now, if you want us to ask them to ask the questions, it can be fixed up.
How about it, Alan?
Go ahead.
When did you see your wife last?
Must have been a couple weeks ago. I can't come up with a date for you.
What do you do for a living?
Sell photographic materials.
What kind of a job did you have before that?
First mate on a ship.
How long did you hold down that job?
6.5 years.
How'd you and your wife get along?
We were divorced.
I understand you saw her quite a bit, though.
Once in a while, yeah, not too often.
The way we got it, you were trying to get her to call off the divorce.
You've been listening to a lot of people with big mouths.
They seem to talk pretty straight, mister.
Well, you go and ask them the questions.
All right, Alan, get your clothes on.
What for?
If you don't want to talk here, we can make it downtown.
Oh, what do you want to know?
You account for your time last week?
What day?
I'll start with Monday.
Worked.
What'd you do at night?
Took in a movie.
Can you prove that?
Yeah, I took a girl I know. Works in one of the photo shops here in town. Check with her.
What about Tuesday?
Worked during the day. Stayed home Tuesday night.
You got any way to back that up?
No, I was alone.
All right, go ahead.
Wednesday, I had to go out of town. Took a run over to Riverside. Didn't get back till about 1:30.
In the morning?
Yeah.
You prove that?
But I can give you the names of the people I was with. You can call them if you have to.
All right.
If there's some way to get away from it, I'd sure appreciate it. I don't like to have them brought into it.
All right.
It's a business thing. The old man buys a lot of stuff from me. I don't want to ruin the contact.
What about Friday night?
Friday night, I was home all night. Didn't feel too good, so I was here all night.
Anybody to vouch for you?
No, I called a couple of people, but there wasn't anybody here.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night, I went out with the same girl I dated Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you want to tell me what this is all about?
I think you know.
Now, how would I know? You guys coming here cause a lot of trouble. How am I supposed to know what it's all about?
All right, Alan, we'll lay it out for you. Your wife's dead.
Josephine?
That's right.
When did it happen?
Last week.
You think I had something to do with it?
Everything we've got points that way.
Well, how do you figure that? Why'd I want to kill her? What reason would I have?
We want you to tell us.
Well, I haven't any. Now, come on, fellas. Tell me the truth. This is a joke, huh? How much did Jeff give you to pull the gas?
No joke.
Look, I don't know what he gave you, but I'll double it. You just tell me the bit, and I'll double your money. I'd like to get back at Jeff.
It's no joke, Alan. All the evidence we've got points out that you killed your wife. Now, we just want to know why.
You mean you really got a case you can take to court?
We're going to try. Now, how about it? You want to tell us? Alan?
I got scared. That's the only way you're known I got scared.
Go ahead.
I saw her Friday night. She said she'd have dinner with me, said we'd have some stuff to talk about. I went up to have dinner with her.
Yeah.
She told me she made up her mind, said she didn't want to get back together.
Mm-hmm.
This past 6 months, I figured it'd work out. All the time I kept calling her, asking her to take me back, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would have done anything in the world she asked me to do. She had just taken me back. None of it worked. We sat there, had a couple of drinks, and then she went out in the kitchen and got dinner ready. All the time, I figured sure she was going to say we were going back together.
Go ahead.
I went out in the kitchen with her, and we talked while she put the stuff on the plates. And then she told me she was going to marry this David Lansing. I tried to talk her out of it. I told her it wouldn't work. She just wouldn't listen.
Yeah?
Tried to tell her how she was making a mistake, but she wouldn't listen. She kept telling me to sit down and eat my dinner. Just kept telling me that. I just couldn't take any more of it. I couldn't see her going to anybody else. You can see that yourself. There wasn't anything else I could do. You can see that, can't you?
Why'd you put Lansing's name on that trunk?
Well, that's where I thought I was smart. I figured I'd have it sent to his place and then pick it up and get rid of it. If I couldn't do that, then he'd get the blame for it. Either way, it would have worked out for me.
All right, you want to get dressed?
Are you going to take me back to L.A.?
That's right.
I don't much care anymore. As long as she's gone, there isn't much. The big thing is that you know that I really loved her.
Yeah, sure.
No, you got to believe that I did love her. It's important that you believe me. I loved her.
It's just one thing.
Yeah.
You had a funny way of showing it, didn't you?
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On November 18th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Jordan Keith Allen was tried and convicted of murder in the second degree, one count, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Murder in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of from 5 years to life. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Okay, Shayne. Get the picture. A guy in front of you with a .38, a guy in back with a rifle. And you with nothing. If wishing will make it so, you better start wishing to be somewhere else fast, because...
Your director, Bill Russo, inviting you to listen to Michael Shayne, that reckless, red-headed Irishman, back at his old haunts in New Orleans, in another transcribed episode. We call it The Case of the Model Murder.
Waiter, my compliments to the chef. This shrimp's superb.
Look, maybe I'm talking out of turn, Mr. Franklin. After all, you're hiring me, but 20 a day is mighty short wages for some of the things I get involved in. And I've learned that the phony cases usually have the biggest hospital bills.
Phony, Mr. Shayne?
Yeah, I get a message that you want to see me urgently. Okay, I come dashing down here, expecting you to be tearing your hair or dying from a leaky artery. So what do I find?
You find me in a seafood bar, enjoying New Orleans' most succulent river shrimp and sipping excellent dry Manhattan.
That's right. Then you give me a story about a girl, Marianne Chevney. I have to find her and bring her to her home by Friday midnight or she loses $8 million.
Is that too complicated?
No, Mr. Franklin, it's too simple. Instead of giving me any details, you go on chewing your shrimp.
And sipping my Manhattan. Waiter, one more of the same, dry. You sure you won't join me, Mr. Shayne?
Look, this picture you gave me, is it the only one you have?
The most recent, yes. It was taken a few weeks before Marianne ran away from home 7 years ago.
Oh.
She never got along with her father, you see.
What about this Friday business? Why Friday after 7 years?
Simply because Friday at midnight, Marianne will be 25.
So she's got to return home by then or she doesn't get her money.
Brilliant. Wait, another order of shrimp, please.
You're sure giving me a lot of time. This is Thursday. I got one whole day. Marianne's father was your partner, half-owner of Chevney Franklin Importers, huh?
That's right.
Chevney died over 3 weeks ago. Why the sudden concern now?
Oh, I haven't been idle. I've been running ads for the girl in the papers.
Yeah, you've been a busy little bee, you have.
Mr. Shayne.
All right. What happens to the $8 million if Marianne Chevney doesn't get home in time?
It goes into the business.
But you're the business now.
That's right. Don't look so perplexed. It's quite simple, really.
Yeah, something simple. You're hiring me to find her so that you can lose $8 million.
Precisely, Mr. Shayne. Wait up. Another dry Manhattan.
We'll return in a moment to the new adventures of Michael Shayne and the case of the model murder.
From the minute I walked into the seafood bar at the Carlton Manor Hotel and sat down opposite Franklin of Chevney Franklin Importers, I knew I was walking into something with more angles and a course in advanced geometry. My first impulse after hearing his story was to tell Mr. Franklin to go peddle his shrimp. Only I suddenly remembered that the only jingle I could raise in my pockets was the sound of my car keys rattling around. It seems his partner, Chevney, had died some 3 weeks before, and $8 million he couldn't take with him was waiting for his errant daughter, Marianne, who'd run away from home 7 years ago when she was 18. I was supposed to find the girl and bring her to her late father's house before Friday midnight, tomorrow night. Well, I took another look at the photo of the girl. The words Harrison Halstead Model Agency were stamped on the back. At least she'd worked there 7 years ago. I decided to give it a whirl. The receptionist was a sugar blonde with a cooperative look in her eyes.
Well, I sure would like to help you, Mr. Shayne, but I really don't know any Miss Chevney.
Well, you handle a lot of models here.
Oh, I tried.
This photograph help you any?
Pretty. No, I'm afraid not.
Taken 7 years ago.
I just bet you'd go for something a little older.
And you'd have a good bet. The boss around?
Well, yes, Mr. Shayne, but I don't know.
What is I want to... Oh. Yes, sir?
Mr. Shayne's looking for a girl by the name of Chevney, Mr. Halston.
Sorry, I can't help you.
Oh, this photograph.
No. What do you want with her?
Well, she's got $8 million coming to her.
Sorry, Mr. Shayne.
Well, that's okay.
Miss Winters, get Miller on the phone, will you? The set will be ready at 2 this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
He recognized the photo.
Did he, Mr. Shayne?
You're a real good kid. Company girl, loyal.
Thank you.
Follow the rules.
Uh-huh.
Look, I'm just trying to help a penniless girl get $8 million.
Well, take one of our cards, Mr. Shayne. You just might want to come back.
Thanks. I don't have $8 million, but...
You don't need $8 million.
How much?
Just enough for a rye steak and baked potato.
It's a deal. Miss Winters struck me as a girl with the wrong name. There's nothing chilly in her attitude. As for this Halstead character, he was one of those guys with a monogram complex. Everywhere you looked, you found H.H. staring you in the face. Harrison Halstead. On his tie, on the pocket of his shirt. Even the cigarette lighter on the reception desk had the same two H's sort of leaning against one another. And the agency card Miss Winters had given me, they were there, too. As I waited for the elevator, I turned the card over. The handwriting was nice and firm. Matey Carter, 2614 Mount York Avenue, might be able to help you. I thought, Shayne, how would you get along without that winning personality of yours? Matey Carter's place was a little bungalow in a court. There was a light on behind curtains. I rang the bell.
Yes?
Miss Carter?
What do you want?
I'd like to talk to you.
What do you want?
I'm looking for Marianne Chevney.
I don't know anybody by that name.
Miss Winters at the Halstead agency.
I can't. I don't know her. She isn't here.
Easy, but lower the volume. What do the neighbors think?
Come in.
Thanks. Now, look, Miss Carter, I'm not trying to do anything but find Miss Chevney so I can give her $8 million.
She doesn't want.
Well, you see, it doesn't pay to keep secrets. Where is she?
I don't know.
Well, how do you know she doesn't want the money?
She told me.
Oh, you spoke to her.
No. I don't you leave me alone. I don't know anything.
Look, all I want... never mind, Miss Carter. Maybe I got a bum steer. Sorry I bothered you. I suppose I could have broken her down if I'd kept at it. But I suddenly found what I came for. There was an envelope face down on the desk. From where I was standing, I was able to read the return address on the flap. Big as life it was. The initials MC, apartment 5, and the address 318 East 54th Street, New York City. MC, Marion Chevney. As I drove back to town, I began to get a familiar feeling. Maybe I don't have eyes behind my head, but I do have a little spot between my shoulder blades that's got a special talent. If somebody's following me, it begins to itch. It had bothered me a little right after I left the Halstead agency, but I didn't pay much attention to it. And right now, it was giving me the squirms in high gear, and I decided to do something about it. I pulled off the main road onto a side street, but quick. I parked, doused the lights, and waited. Cars kept going by, and I spotted a maroon job with one light dimmer than the other coming around the block for the second time. This time, it went about 100 yards past me, and then it parked. I waited. Nobody got out of the car. The spot between my shoulders stopped itching. I knew I was on solid ground. I got out of the car and started up the street. I saw the guy behind the wheel of the maroon job looking straight ahead as if he had nothing better to do than just sit there. I pulled the door open and slid into the front seat. Huh?
What's doing, champ?
Nice tail job.
No?
Pro job.
Well, you're not so bad yourself. Spotting it.
New Orleans does that for me. There's a feel to the city. You must be from out of town.
Yeah.
Working?
Yeah.
Jonathan Franklin?
Never heard of him.
Franklin and Chevney importers. Bananas, I think.
I hate bananas.
Who is it?
You're doing all the talking, champ.
This is a tough town for strangers.
Not so tough.
You're not so tough either. All right, nice tie you got. Slips up nice and easy. You can't talk, champ, but you can sure listen. That's a very pretty color you're turning on. Let's see. Yeah, shoulder holster, 45 automatic. Okay, you can breathe now, but don't overdo it. And take a tip. I don't like being followed, and strangers in town ought to be courteous.
You're a pretty tough boy, Shayne.
No, I'm the easygoingest guy in the world. I just don't like being tailed. Remember, mind your manners when you're in a strange city, champ. Franklin was in the dining room of the hotel carving up some rare roast beef with Yorkshire pudding on the side. I dropped into a chair on the other side of his table and told him what I'd found out. As usual, he got real interested.
New York, eh? Would you join me, Mr. Shayne?
You're real worried about getting Marianne Chevney back here before tomorrow night, aren't you?
Oh, you can't rush things, my boy.
Ah, this case smells clear across the river. Don't you trust me, Mr. Franklin?
One moment, Mr. Shayne. Wait up.
Yes, sir?
Bring me a phone, please. You were saying...
I said somebody's been tailing me. I'd like to know why.
You're implying, Mr. Shayne, that because I don't trust you, I've hired someone to watch you?
In a nutshell.
That is not true. But the fact that someone is following you is very disconcerting.
Your telephone, Mr. Franklin?
Oh, thank you, waiter. Your pardon, Mr. Shayne. Travel desk, please. Hello? This is Jonathan Franklin speaking. Will you arrange for a charter plane with the New Orleans Charter Service, please? In the name of Michael Shayne. In about an hour. It's now 8:30. The plane is to go to New York and leave here at 9:30. Thank you.
Yeah, you're full of surprises, Mr. Franklin.
I've got another one for you.
Yeah?
If you succeed in bringing Marianne back here before midnight tomorrow, there's a $1,000 bonus for you.
Sometimes, Mr. Franklin, your conversation is positively brilliant. A chartered plane to New York and a $1,000 jackpot at the end of the rainbow. I felt like a captain of industry as the plane got the right of way from the airport tower and circled in for a landing. New York, great little city. It was 4 o'clock in the morning when the taxi pulled up in front of 518 East 54th Street. I told the cabbie to wait. What's money to me? Took the stairs of the brownstone 2 at a time. Apartment 5 was at the end of the hall on the first floor. I knocked. Nothing happened. I knocked again. Nobody could sleep like that. Then I tried the door. Locked. Apparently Marianne was a dirty stay-out late. Across the hall, the door to apartment number 4 said manager. I walked over and started knocking again.
Well, what is it? What is it?
I'm sorry to get you out of bed all the time, but I'd like you to open the door to apartment 5.
Are you crazy waking a body at 4 in the morning?
Look, I'm a private detective. I'm looking for the girl who has that apartment. I want to get in, so I'll be there when she gets home.
Private detective? I'm sorry. If you was a police, it'd be...
Does this give me the necessary rank?
$5.
All right, make it 10.
Well, why didn't you tell me he was a private detective in the first place? Come on. Hey, light switch in there. There.
Yeah.
Make yourself comfortable.
Thanks. Here's your pound of flesh.
You won't tell her that I let you...
What's the matter with you?
There. Over there. On the floor in the hall.
First, I saw a lot of blonde hair. And then I saw there was a girl attached to her. She probably would have been real pretty without that bullet hole in her forehead.
We'll return in a moment to the new adventures of Michael Shayne and the case of the model murder.
A glutton by the name of Jonathan Franklin had waved an ice-cold scent in front of my nose, but strangely enough, it still had a strong odor. My assignment was to find Marianne Chevney and get her back to her late dad's home so she could collect $8 million, according to the terms of her inheritance. Well, I picked up the trail at the Harrison Halstead Model Agency, where Miss Chevney had once worked. Mr. H.H. and his secretary, Miss Winters, acted like I was after atomic secrets. As I left, Miss Winters shoved a card in my hand with the name and address of Matey Carter. Miss Carter had the willies bad, but I picked up the information that the girl I was looking for was in New York. Franklin stopped eating roast beef long enough to charter a plane for me. And I arrived at the end of the trail just in time to find my quarry still warm, but with a bullet in her head.
Oh, my police. We'll have to call the police.
Yeah, but not before I make a phone call long distance.
Well, it won't be long now, will you? Tell them because they get real mad. If you don't tell
long distance, I want you to get me Mr. Jonathan Franklin at the Carlton Manor in New Orleans. Collect. Michael Shayne at this end. That's right. This is Circle 65970.
Yeah, my reputation. You know this will be in the papers, don't you? Be police all over the place and reporters.
Yeah, and her blood stains a nice carpet,
Yeah,
too.
we
I
could
feel
fix
real
that.
sorry for you. Hello? Hello, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, what is it, please?
Take your earmuffs off. You might like to hear this.
What is it, Shayne?
Just a second, Mr. Franklin. Look, old-timer, don't you have a telephone in your own apartment?
Yes. Well, I never thought of that.
Well, think of it.
Well, Shayne?
The gal is dead.
Really?
Now, what do you want me to do?
Come on home. You've done a good job.
You're not sorry?
No. Should I be?
What about the $1,000 bonus? I guess that's cold turkey, huh?
We'll talk about it when you get back.
Yeah.
Cold turkey, did you say?
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned it. That's an excellent thought. With a glass of cold milk, of course. Goodbye, Mr. Shayne.
I had a little time before the cops had come, so I started moseying around the apartment. First thing that caught my eye was a cigarette lighter on an end table. It looked familiar. Very familiar. All of a sudden, I knew why. There was a monogram on it. Yeah, 2 H's sort of leaning against each other. I got the long-distance operator again and put in a call to Mr. Halstead, also collect.
There is no answer.
Are you sure you got the right guy?
Harrison Halstead's residence in New Orleans, Orange 240.
Thanks, operator.
Shall I try later?
I didn't know how, but it was pretty obvious that Halstead was in this thing up to his ears. I kept on wandering around the living room, and then I found it. There was a letter on the table in a girl's handwriting. The date was just 2 days ago, and the letter started with the words, Dear Matey. I didn't have to read the signature to know it was Mary Ann. I took a good look at the girl on the floor. Her hair was blonde, only there was about a 1/16 of an inch of dark brunette showing at the hairline. I got real smart then. I finally figured it out. This girl was Matey Carter, and the frightened girl back in New Orleans was really Mary Ann Chevney. Only somebody else had apparently made the same mistake, and it was my guess he was hightailing it back to New Orleans to correct his error. I made a quick call to homicide to pay my respects and then headed for the airport. Luckily, the plane was ready to go when I got there. Oh, Shayne, you had the girl in your hands and then you waltzed off with a dream. One thing was clear. Mary Ann Chevney had plenty to worry about. It took me just 10 minutes from the time I landed back in New Orleans to get to her place. The door to Mary Ann's bungalow was locked, and there was no answer to my banging. I started around the house trying to get a look-see inside. Nothing. Nobody home. When I got around to the rear and peeked in the bedroom, I saw why. The place was empty. Either she decided to run or else she'd been taken on a trip without a return ticket. I scrambled over to Carlton Manor, and guess what? Yeah, Jonathan Franklin was eating.
It seems you made a mistake, Mr. Shayne.
How do you know?
The papers. Wasn't Mary Ann who was killed in New York. It was a girl by the name of Carter, Madeline Carter.
You still want me to find Mary Ann?
Oh, of course. Let's see. 3 now. You only have 9 hours left. Would you have some lunch? Bouillabaisse?
No, thanks.
Don't you ever find time to eat?
Yeah, but I'm peculiar. I only eat 3 meals a day. Mary Ann Chevney's life was in danger, and I wanted to get to her while she was still hale and hearty. I drove over to Halstead's agency. Miss Winters still had that cooperative look.
Well, hi there.
Hi, where's your boss?
Out.
Been in today?
Well, I know. As a matter of fact, he hadn't.
Did you try to reach him at home?
Yes, I did.
He wasn't there.
Oh, is something wrong?
Something's very wrong, sweetheart. Look, that note you slipped me last night.
Not the kind I usually write.
Matey Carter, you knew I was looking for Mary Ann Chevney.
Well, I said Matey Carter might be a help. She's a friend of Miss Chevney's.
You didn't know there was a switch?
Switch?
Matey Carter was in New York. She was killed last night.
Killed?
Halstead could have taken a plane up there last night, couldn't he?
Well, I don't know.
As far as you know, he could have, couldn't he?
Well, yes. I haven't spoken to him since last night.
Tell me, is he a bachelor?
Yeah.
Lives alone?
Uh-huh.
In town or in the country?
Both.
Oh, he has a country place. Where?
Well, I'll tell you in a minute. You want me to look it up?
You bet I do, sweetheart. If I'm not too late, it might make the difference between a long and wealthy life or a 45 slug to Mary Ann Chevney. It took me almost an hour to drive out to where Halstead had his beach home. The place had a real subtropical flavor, bordering on the Gulf and surrounded by a mass of lush undergrowth and stubby cypress trees. I didn't bother to announce myself. I just barged in. She'd been here, all right. There was a woman's jacket over a chair in the big paneled living room, and her purse half open on the floor. I went to the back door and opened it and looked out. Bounced off a stone, and I caught a glint of the bullet as it whined off on its ricochet. It had come from the left. I ducked back into the house. He had shells to burn, whoever he was. There was no sense in my perching like a sitting duck, so I started toward the front. The living room had been empty a moment before, but now there was a man in it, a man with a gun. Halstead.
Stop where you are, Mr. Shayne, and raise your hands.
Where's Marianne?
It's none of your business. I said raise your hands.
Now, look, Halstead, don't be coy about this thing. There's a guy out there with a gun, a big gun, and he's got big ideas.
So have I. Move back. Against the wall.
Look, who's working for who around here?
You're sticking your nose in where it doesn't belong, Shayne. Told you yesterday if there was anything about Marianne Chevney you ought to concern yourself with.
What did you do with her?
Let's just say she's in protective custody.
Yours?
As I said, that's none of your business. Hello, champ. What you doing?
Still tailing me, huh?
Yeah. And this time, no necktie.
Very bad taste.
Huh?
Drop that rifle.
I don't think so. You ought to practice more. You missed.
Oh, this is real cute. Champ was in the kitchen with a rifle, and you're in here with a pistol, Halstead. You both have a grudge against me, only you can't stop worrying about each other.
Shayne, who is that man in the kitchen?
I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but I think he's after Marianne, too. Aren't you, Champ?
Could be, but right now I get more flinty. Missed again.
Just stick your head in that doorway once more. Now, Mr. Shayne, I'll give you just 3 seconds to tell me what you want.
I told you.
I want the truth now.
What difference does it make what I want with the girl if you're already...
All right, Shayne, I warned you.
We'll be back in just a moment with Mike Shayne and the thrilling climax to our story.
It was a second or two before I realized Halstead had fired at the laddie with the rifle, not me. But I wasn't inclined to administer first aid to Champ lying in the kitchen doorway because from the look on Halstead's face, he was getting ready for a repeat performance. And then I got a shock. Like when the shower suddenly turns from hot to cold. Marianne, the real Marianne, stepped into the room and went over to Halstead. I figured it was time to call a halt and settle who was who. Hello, Marianne.
You killed Matey.
No, the Champ in the kitchen, it was his work.
Why don't you leave me alone, all of you?
All I've been trying to do is bring you back to your father's home by midnight tonight so you can inherit the $8 million he left you.
Marianne and I were married last night, Shayne.
What?
Now the matter of her inheritance is my business. So why don't you leave us alone?
I will if Marianne or Mrs. Halstead will go back to her father's house.
But why, Mr. Shayne? Why should I go back there?
Well, if the $8 million doesn't mean anything to you, the 1,000 I stand to collect means plenty to me. I knew it was the right time, 6 o'clock, when I walked into the dining room of the Carlton Manor. Jonathan Franklin was having breast of guinea hen under glass and a white wine.
Well, won't you sit down? I'll have to wait to get you.
No, thanks.
Yeah. You look calm and relaxed, Mr. Shayne. Success?
Yes.
Splendid. And Marianne?
I found her. And her husband.
Her husband?
That's right. Oh, your boy is down at headquarters, Mr. Franklin.
Headquarters? My boy?
Yes, the Champ. He talked when he came to. He got a little overeager after he trailed me to Halstead's beach house, and Halstead winged him.
Oh.
The way I figured, it wasn't a question of Marianne getting back to her father's home before her 25th birthday.
No? This wine is delicious. 1929 Sauterne.
No, it was a question of whether or not she'd reach her 25th birthday. And that's why you had me searching for her, to find her so you could have her killed before she did.
Now, you're not going to spoil my dinner.
You know, there's an old saying, Mr. Franklin, the foolish person eats himself into the grave.
You say he talked?
Yes. He told us why he'd been following me. So that if I found Marianne, he could kill her. He told us how he was sent to New York before I left. Oh, I should have guessed that, Mr. Franklin. It only takes 10 minutes to get to the airport from here. Why make the charter for an hour later?
You have a point.
And there was only one person besides myself and Marianne who knew the address of Matey Carter in New York.
I should have thought of that, I suppose.
You finished with your dinner, Mr. Franklin? Because if you are, there are some men waiting for you in the lobby. Homicide detail.
You're spoiling my digestion, Mr. Shayne.
Doesn't matter, Mr. Franklin. From now on, you'll be eating crow. Hearty appetite.
Mike, what I can't understand is why Mr. Franklin was so eager to get his partner's money. He must have made the same amount himself. That's all $8 million.
That's enough bait for anybody, sweetheart. With his appetite, maybe he needs $16 million to keep in groceries, especially with prices the way they are today.
Oh, Mike. Sugar, you're cute.
Now, on, eat your steak. And will you have red wine served with it? Waiter, a sparkling burgundy, domestic, year of 1948.
This is your director, Bill Russo, again. Our story is based on characters created by Fred Halliday. The music is composed and conducted by John Duffy, and Michael Shayne is portrayed by Jeff Chandler. The New Adventures of Michael Shayne is a Don W. Sharp production, transcribed in Hollywood and distributed exclusively by the Broadcasters Guild. Next week, you'll hear Michael Shayne in another thrilling adventure from mysterious and colorful New Orleans.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the burglary detail. A jewelry store has been robbed. Merchandise amounting to $5,000 has been stolen. The thief made good his escape. Your job? Find him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Sunday, September 8th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out to the scene, and it was 10:18 a.m. when we got to 6247 28th Street, the jewelry store.
I'll be right there.
Yes, sir?
That's not a very big place.
Probably more room behind that partition there.
Yeah. I'm coming. You the police?
Yes, sir, that's right. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
I'm glad to meet you.
How you doing, sir?
My name's Hemp, Ray Hemp. This is my store.
Yes, sir.
Sorry I kept you waiting. I was back in the kitchen making some tea. I was a little nervous, you know. Thought it might help.
Mm-hmm.
You gentlemen care for some?
No, sir.
No, thanks, sir.
When did you discover the theft?
Well, I got back to the store about 40 minutes ago. Saw what had happened, and I called the police right away.
Is everything like you found it?
Yes, sir.
These cases open?
That's right. I haven't touched anything in here. Didn't want a chance messing anything up.
Yes, sir.
Didn't leave very much, huh?
A couple of watch bands is about all. Really cleaned out the place.
Now, about the watches, what kind were they?
Mostly wrist models. A couple of pocket size.
Uh-huh.
All different brands, but I just got a bunch of long jeans in. Took every one of them.
Yes, sir.
Cleaned me out.
Can you tell us how they got into the store?
Yes. I'll show you how they chopped a hole right through the wall.
All right, sir.
Right through the wall. In the back. Came right through. You can see there. Goes right into the storeroom of the barbershop next door. Sure made a mess of the place. Plaster all over the floor.
Yes, sir.
Pretty much ruined the wall, too.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure they'd have enough room. See, the hole must be about 2 feet across, Joe.
You can see there, right into the storeroom.
Yes, sir.
I'd better check over there, huh?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. The back door to the barber shop is open. Before you officers arrived, I checked out in the alley and I saw it wide open. I guess that's how they got in.
Who owns the barber shop, Mr. Hemp?
Ed Justin. Had the place over 15 years.
You know where he lives?
Yes, he isn't home, though. As soon as I saw that hole, I tried to call him.
You can give us his address and phone number, can you?
Yes.
We'll want to talk to him.
I've got one of his cards up front.
All right, sir. We'll check next door.
Look at that hole. Must be a good 3 feet across, wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir.
Here, let me get that door for you. Look at that.
What's that?
Size of that door. Heavy, double lock. Burglar alarm system out in front. On the skylight up there. Doesn't stop him.
Yes, sir. Well, we'll check next door.
Seems like kind of a nice little guy, huh?
Yeah.
Wonder why the thief didn't close the door when he finished.
Probably nothing left to steal.
Yeah.
Take a look at the door here. Doesn't look like it was forced.
Well, Justin might have left it unlocked. Boy, they sure made a mess in here, too.
Yeah, looks like they had a head start.
Huh. The place must use a lot of hair oil.
Yeah, only that's liquid soap there.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't look like there's any tools around.
Well,
How you doing?
take a look.
Want to find something?
Come here.
What?
In the dust here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Impressions?
Huh. Looks like a stocking foot, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the guy must have worked with his shoes off.
That's the way I'd call it. You notice right here?
What?
In the middle of the print? The stain?
Yeah, looks like it could be blood.
Possibly might have cut his foot. What do you think?
Uh-huh.
Well, let's call the crime lab. Have them send a crew out to go over both places. Huh?
Yeah. Joe?
Yeah.
Take a look at the skylight up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's broken. You better check the roof, huh?
All right.
Sure looks like hair, Tommy.
Yeah, it's green.
Yeah. There's the drain pipe there. Might have used that to get up.
Mm-hmm. We'll have the crew check it. Let's go back in.
Yeah. Mr. Hemp?
Yes? Find out anything?
Well, we're not sure yet, sir. I wonder if you could tell us, is there some way to get to the roof of the building here?
Oh, yes. Come on, I'll show you. There. You see? Up in the corner. Trap door.
Mm-hmm.
Hinged. Swings right up. It's been a while since I've used it.
You have something we can use to get up there?
Mm-hmm. I've got a ladder. I'll get it.
All right, sir. You want me to give you a hand with that?
Oh, I can get it.
All right. Here, you better let me help you with that.
I'll swing my end over, and you can walk it right up under the trap door.
All right, careful now. All right.
How's that?
That's fine. That'll get it. Want to steady the ladder, Frank?
Yeah. Can you get it?
No, this bolt's stuck. Just a minute.
It's probably rusty. I told you I didn't use it very often.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's got it.
Good.
Okay, now, hang on, will you, while I boost myself up?
I got it.
Okay. All right. You want to come up, Frank?
Yeah.
All right, let me give you a hand.
Yeah. Wait till I get my foot on the ledge.
All right, come on. Okay. You got to lose some weight. Let's take a look at that skylight, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we didn't hit this tar roof at noon.
Well, it's still plenty warm.
Hey, you can see all of Hemp's place through this one.
Mm-hmm. Good spot to case it from, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's check that broken skylight.
Yeah. Take a look.
Yeah, more smears.
Well, not much doubt about these.
Looks like blood, all right, doesn't it?
Yeah. Maybe they did case the stores from here.
Uh-huh. Could have cut his foot on a piece of glass, couldn't he?
Well, figures. Still not much to go on.
No.
It'd take a pretty big cut to make these smears.
Well, that'd be something in our favor.
How do you mean?
It won't heal overnight. The crime lab crew arrived and started their investigation. Photographs were taken of the interiors of both stores, and samples of the plaster and lath materials were held as evidence. Latent fingerprints went over both the jewelry store and the barber shop. Frank and I checked with the people in the neighborhood, but none of them could recall seeing any automobiles or strangers loitering in the vicinity. At 7:20 p.m., the barber, Ed Justin, returned. We questioned him. He said he didn't recall locking the back door to the shop, and he said it was more than possible that he did leave it open. We got a complete list of the stolen merchandise from Ray Hemp, along with the case and movement numbers of the watches. These were distributed to pawn shops throughout the city. Frank and I went back to the city hall and had the stats office start a run on the M.O. used in the burglary. 9:47 p.m., Lieutenant Lee Jones from the crime lab called to say that they'd finished their examination of the physical evidence. He told us that the stains we'd found were blood, and that he'd have the grouping test finished for us in the morning. He went on to say that the suspect should have particles of plaster dust and other debris in his clothing. Also, if we were able to find the socks that the thief had worn, the pattern of the material would identify them. At 10:15 p.m., Frank and I finished the log, and we checked out of the office. The next morning, we started to run down the list that the staff's office had furnished us. It took 2 full days to question all of the men named. At the end of that time, we had what we'd started with, nothing. We talked to informants. None of them could tell us anything. Wednesday, 11:40 a.m., Frank and I checked into the office. Guess I better check the book, huh?
Yeah. What you got?
A call from Lucarelli over at Narcotics.
Yeah.
Says they picked up a guy this morning. Luke talked to him, figured maybe we'd want to see him.
You say why?
Well, he didn't spell it out. He saw our teletype on the jewelry store thing.
Yeah.
It's about some watches. We put in a call to Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli at Narcotics Division. 5 minutes later, the suspect was brought to our office. He was identified as Frederick Gabriel Garth. He had a record listing several arrests for burglary and narcotics. He'd served 1 term at the county jail on the narcotics charge. He was brought into the interrogation room where Frank and I questioned him.
What are you giving me trouble for? I'm clean. They found nothing on me.
Is that so?
Sure, the marks are old. Been a long time since I had a fix. Well, what do you want from me?
Information?
On what?
You've been around a while, haven't you, Garth?
Sure, I'm a native son.
Well, you must have a lot of friends.
A couple.
Any of them selling wristwatches?
What do you mean?
Well, you don't need a drawing for this now. Any of your friends selling watches cheap?
No.
You sure about that?
What are you trying to build?
Well, the way it came to us, you can steer us to a cheap watch.
Well, you got it all wrong. I don't even own a watch. If I could buy one cheap, I'd have one.
Is that right?
Well, sure. I always wanted a good one.
Mm-hmm.
You know anybody who can lead us to a good buy?
Well, what's in it for me?
What do you got now?
Nothing.
Well, you're going to leave the same way.
Well, no reason for me to give you a hand, then, is there?
Then put it down that we're going to have you in here again. The way you act now will go on the books.
How about it, Garth?
Who's going to know?
You, Smith, and me.
For real?
Won't do us any good to spread it around town, will it?
Okay, I met a guy last night. Showed me a watch he bought for $5.
What'd it look like?
Gold. Pretty good watch.
Fellow friend of yours?
I know him, that's all.
You got a name?
Yeah, Victor Gordon.
Where'd you see him?
Hot dog stand.
Well, where's that?
Out on Western.
Western's a long street.
Corner of St. Andrews.
What's this Gordon do for a living?
I don't know. I just see him around the hot dog stand once in a while.
You live around there?
Yeah, I got a room near 39th and Western. I don't know the number. It's a big green place. Got those kind of plastic shingles on the roof. Red ones.
Mm-hmm. You show it to us?
Yeah, a friend of mine has a car. We drove him home a couple of times.
Did you get a good look at the watch last night?
Yeah.
What kind was it?
Longines.
You're pretty sure about that, are you?
Sure. I looked at it pretty good. He took it off his wrist. Asked me if I thought it was worth $5. Well, I told him it was. At least I'd pay that for it. It's a real beauty.
All right. Can you give us a description of this Gordon fella?
Yeah.
We want you to show us where he lives.
Well, I've ridden this far. No reason to get off now.
You got any more on him?
You're going to find out anyway.
Yeah?
This Gordon, he's an ex-convict.
We checked the name and description of Victor Gordon through R&I. We found that he'd served 1 term for armed robbery in an eastern penitentiary and was not on parole at the time. A check of the ex-convict registration gave us his present address. We also found that he was employed at the Belden Aircraft Corporation in San Fernando. We took Fred Garth out to the address on Western Avenue to verify it for us. He pointed out the house and asked that we drop him off near a streetcar line. After that, Frank and I returned to the rooming house, and we went up to the 3rd floor. We knocked on the door to Gordon's room, and he asked us in.
I know what you're climbing on me for. Wild questions.
You ask him to get answers, don't you? We'd like a few.
Look, you tell me what all this is about, and maybe it'll shake up my memory.
All right, the way we heard it, you were wearing a new watch last night.
Well, you got it wrong.
That's so.
Yeah, I haven't got a watch.
We got it different.
Look here. You see one? If I had a watch, I'd be wearing it, wouldn't I?
You had one last night, mister.
Well, you're crazy. I haven't got a watch.
We are different.
Somebody lied to you. I showed you I'm not wearing one.
You don't mind if we look around the place?
Go ahead. You won't find anything.
All right.
I'll check the closet, too.
Okay.
When you're wasting your time, you're not going to find anything.
Well, then you haven't got anything to worry about, have you?
Go ahead and mess up my room. Tear it apart. You're not going to find anything.
Why don't you just simmer down there?
I just don't want to have to put all that stuff back.
Go.
Yeah. What do you got?
Take a look. Found one of the shoes there.
38 Colt.
Yeah.
How about it? You satisfied now?
This gun yours, Gordon?
Never saw it before.
Found it in your closet.
It isn't mine.
Won't hold. You want to tell us about it?
All right, so you found a gun. Is something wrong?
You got a short memory, haven't you?
Maybe I got it wrong. I thought you guys were looking for a watch.
There's a law that says an ex-con can't have a gun. You ought to know that. How about it, Gordon? All right, get your coat.
Want to take me downtown?
You called it.
What charge?
We'll let you know when we write it up.
It's a bad beat.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, it is. I don't know what you're after, but I had no piece of it.
You want to get the watch?
It's in the medicine cabinet in the bathroom.
All right, you sit still. I'll get it.
I bought it. I paid $5.
We'll get to that. How about it, Joe?
Yeah. You got a pen there?
Yeah, give it here all over.
All right. You want to give me the number? I'll check it against the list.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah. It's kind of hard to see. 1, 6, 7, 5, 8. I think the next one's a 9.
Let me see then. Yeah, that's a 9.
Is it on the list?
Wait a minute.
Look, I didn't steal it. I was wrong about the gun, but I didn't steal the watch.
Look, just sit still. How about it?
No, it's not here. Wait a minute. Try the other side. Mm-hmm. Gordon, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I know. The gun.
No, that's only half of it, this watch.
Yeah?
It's listed as stolen.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
The suspect was taken downtown and questioned. He continued to deny any part in the theft. We put in a call to the place where he worked, and we verified that he'd been there on the night of the burglary. After a half hour of questioning, Victor Gordon told us about the man he'd bought the watch from. He said he didn't know his full name, that he knew him only as Kermit. He went on to say that his girlfriend had been with him when he bought the watch and could verify the story. We contacted the girl, Celia Kirk, and we talked to her. She told us the same story we'd gotten from Gordon. She volunteered the information that Kermit lived in the 3800 block on Gramercy Place. She also told us that his girlfriend lived in the 2900 block on 9th Avenue. We got a complete description of the man, and we checked it through R&I. We came up with a package for a Kermit J. Wayne. When the mugshot was shown to Gordon and Celia Kirk, we got a positive identification. Wayne's arrest record went back to the time he was 15. He was listed as an expert safe burglar and had used a tunneling M.O. on several occasions. Gordon was booked in at the main jail on a charge of violation of the Dangerous Weapons Control Law of 1923, Section 2. 5:40 p.m. Frank and I left the office and drove out to the address on Gramercy Place. Wayne lived on the second floor rear. He wasn't there. In the company of the landlord, we went through his room.
Pretty dirty.
If you want to check the dresser, I'll get the trunk.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, look. I guess everybody's got this calendar, huh?
Yeah, it's real popular.
Oh, good. Hey, look at this.
You turn something?
Yeah? Drawer full of dirty T-shirts.
You gotta put them someplace.
Oh. I have gloves for this job. How you doing with the trunk?
There's nothing much in it. More of those calendars. Wayne must be a fine arts patron.
Dirty shirts in this one.
I don't know. Maybe the guy hasn't heard of laundries. What do you think? Well, the trunk checks out.
Well, how you like that? I should have known.
Hmm?
Dirty socks, whole drawer full of them.
Well, he's neat anyhow.
Huh?
I'll check the closet. A lot of hangers, not many clothes.
Maybe the guy's broke, but that's no reason to be so dirty. How about that bundle there?
I haven't looked at it yet. Wait a minute.
It might be his clean shirt.
No, pair of pants.
Figures. They're dirty, too.
Wait a minute. Something in the pocket here. Pair of socks.
That makes you wrong.
Huh?
If he was so neat, they'd be with the others.
Well, maybe he had a reason for keeping them here.
Why?
Take a look.
He had a reason.
Blood on this one. We checked out the rest of Wayne's room, but we turned up nothing to further tie him in with a burglary. We got a description of his car from the landlord, and before we left, we made arrangements for a stakeout to be set up on his room. We took the pair of pants and the blood-stained socks down to the crime lab for examination. 8:20 p.m. Frank and I drove over to 9th Street to try to find Kermit Wayne's girlfriend. We checked the 2900 block, and we found a car that matched the description of the one owned by the suspect. We checked the white slip and found the car was registered to Wayne. Frank pulled 2 of the leads to the spark plugs, and we went back to our car to wait for Wayne to show up. The night dragged on. 4:29 a.m.
It's been almost 8 hours.
Yeah. Something had happened, don't you?
Put in with you. Joe? You ever notice around the city all the clocks that are stopped?
No, I can't say that I have.
You know, on business places, storefronts, walls, all over.
Well, what brought that on?
Oh, I was just thinking a little while ago. You know, some smart fella did a lot of work fixing them. All the clocks that don't run.
Mm-hmm.
They're only right 2 times a day.
What?
Clocks that are broke. Twice a day they're right. How'd you like to be right only twice a day?
Some fellas would be all right.
Like who?
Guys that bet on the horses.
Oh, yeah, probably would. Never thought of that. Wouldn't be so good if you worked in a chicken hatchery, though.
Where?
Chicken hatchery.
What do you mean?
Well, those guys up there, they look at baby chicks. They're a day or so old, and they tell what they're going to be. You know, men or women.
What?
Well, they're going to be roosters or hens.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good money in it.
Well, that's a new one on me.
Yeah, but you got to be right. None of this twice-a-day stuff. You know, say a guy bought 100 little baby chicks expecting to get, 98 hens and 2 roosters. And he finds out he got just the opposite, 98 roosters and 2 hens. How do you think he'd feel?
Disappointed?
You bet he would. That guy'd be looking for a new job, too.
Yeah, well, maybe he could fix those clocks, huh?
Well, sure be a lot of money in it for somebody, huh?
Across the street?
Yeah. I see.
Talking to somebody inside there.
I can't see him too good. Not the right height, though.
Yeah. It's coming this way now. Notice the walk? Checks out all the way.
Yeah. It's him.
All right, wait till he gets in the car. All right, let's go.
Right. Hey, fella.
You Kermit Wayne?
Hey, what is this?
Police officers. Are you Kermit Wayne?
Yeah, what?
Get out of the car. Come on. Keep those hands where we can see them.
Why you want to talk to me?
Come on, get out. Just put it down the way you walk, huh?
This don't make sense.
It does to us.
What do you mean?
You're limp. The suspect was taken down to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. An examination showed that he had a bad cut on his right foot. We contacted the office, and another team of men were sent out to the apartment of Wayne's girlfriend to go over the place. Frank and I took the suspect back to the office. 8:25 a.m.
Don't guess we can expect much from Wayne's girlfriend if she's anything like him.
No, he's a clam, that's for sure. We're going to need something strong to open him up.
Friday?
Yeah, Mac. What'd you do out there?
Think maybe we got something for you.
Yeah.
Where is the guy?
The next office.
Here.
You taking a trip, Mac?
Suitcases for you. Watches, rings.
Huh.
Wayne's girlfriend didn't know it, but she was in the jewelry business.
Look at this. All Longines. How about serial numbers?
Haven't checked them yet. As soon as we found this, we came right over.
All right. We'll run them. Do you have any trouble?
No, really. She was pretty cooperative. Didn't see what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
We told her Wayne was in custody, gave her a big story. Tells easier than it was.
How'd you locate the stuff?
When we told her about Wayne, she remembered the suitcase he wanted her to keep for him.
Mm-hmm.
He told her it was some war souvenirs. Didn't like to leave them in his room.
Mm-hmm.
Real surprised when she saw the contents. Then she got mad. Said he'd always promised to buy her a good watch. Never had.
Well, she can start looking for a new Santa Claus, huh?
Yeah.
Wayne won't be shopping for some time. We checked the serial numbers on the watches, and we found that they were the ones taken in the burglary of the jewelry store. All of the other merchandise matched the description that we'd gotten from Ray Hemp. 9:18 a.m.
All right, you want to tell us how you cut your foot?
I'm giving you nothing.
You did it on the skylight over the barber shop, didn't you?
You tell me. I don't know. Maybe I cut at the beach.
No, we don't think so.
I want to see a lawyer. I'll talk to him, but I got nothing for you guys.
All right, we got something here we want you to see, Wayne.
How about it, Wayne? Look familiar?
Who you kidding? Bunch of watches. I've seen watches before. Who hasn't?
These are a little different. Look at the suitcase. Does that ring any bells?
Don't mean nothing to me. You guys are trying to trap me. I know how you are. Won't work this time. I learned all about you cops a long time ago.
I get it. Burglary Friday. Yeah, right. Both of them, huh? Oh, good. Okay. We'll check with you. Want to give us a story now, Wayne?
I'll talk to a lawyer.
That phone call there. They just called the third strike on you, mister.
More blood.
All right, I'll give it to you straight. When you went into that jewelry store, you cut your foot. You left blood smears all over the place.
You got to stay away from comic
We
books.
got pictures of the smears. Our crime lab matched them up with a pair of socks that we found in your room. The pants we found are loaded with debris that you picked up when you went through that wall. So we can prove it came from the same place. Sound like we're bluffing?
You want to tell us about it now?
Don't think you're so smart, you ain't. Just got the breaks, that's all, just the breaks.
That's so.
Yeah, you cops ain't smart. I learned it real young. Once in a while, the breaks fall on your side.
Something else you should have learned real young. You wouldn't be worrying about the brakes now.
What's that?
The 8th commandment.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
Kermit J. Wayne was tried and convicted of burglary in the first degree. Victor Cavell Gordon was found guilty of violation of the Dangerous Weapons Control Act and received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Violation of the Dangerous Weapons Control Act is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for a period of not more than 1 year, or a fine of $500, or both such fine and imprisonment.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
My name's Regan. I work for Anthony J. Lyon, Detective Bureau. They call me the Lion's Eye. Sunday at 8:30, and CBS brings you Jeff Regan, Investigator, starring Frank Graham as Regan, with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. So stand by for mystery, suspense, and adventure in tonight's transcribed story, Gentlemen Prefer Horses. Like they say in the racing form, it was a clear day, track fast, and a field of 7. Any way you looked at it, the smart money was on the Stevens entry, except for me. I had a hot tip from a guy named Crenshaw, a jockey who finished in a dead heat with a bullet. I walked into the Lion's office that Tuesday afternoon. His hands were folded across 200 pounds of chest, and he wasn't being too particular about the cigar ashes on his vest. It was an expensive cigar. Kind he lit up on his birthday, New Year's, and at funerals.
Well, come in, Jeffrey, my boy. This is a fine day, a very fine day.
Yeah, I can tell by the smell. $1 cigar?
50 center. They were out of my usual brand.
Ah, price of rope's gone up.
Who cares? Today we're living off the fat of the land. Today we're having champagne and caviar. Figuratively, of course.
Yeah, sounds like fancy figures. Who furnished them?
Who but our new client, Jeffrey? Today you and I have the pleasure of serving a young man named Boots Crenshaw.
How's that again?
Boots Crenshaw.
I just wanted to be sure.
Oh, the name. It is a little odd. You see, Boots was quite a noted jockey several years ago. Retired, moved to Los Angeles. Now he needs our help.
How much?
$100 worth, coin of the realm. Oh, what a day.
$100 will buy a lot of help.
That's the beauty of it. He doesn't need a lot. It's so simple. We do practically nothing.
Yeah, I'll bet.
All you do is run down to his hotel and talk to him. The Francesca on East 8th Street. What he wants is so childishly simple, I won't even bore you with the details.
Look, General, if it's that simple, maybe you better hire somebody on day rates to handle it. I don't know a thing about horses.
Exactly. That's why you're ideal for the job.
Because I don't know anything about horses?
That's right. You see, Jeffrey, my boy, although Boots Crenshaw is an ex-jockey, he says there's only one thing in life he can't stand.
Don't tell me.
You guessed it, Jeffrey. Horses.
I should have seen it for an outside bet right there, but I played it for a sure thing. I drove down Main to 8th and east until I spotted the Francesca Hotel. 3 floors of cracked plaster and a fire escape. It was old when Santa Anita was an onion patch. I parked around the corner and went in. A desk clerk with empty eyes and no teeth gave me 307. I went up, tripped on a hole in the carpet, and knocked. 3 minutes later, the door opened wide enough for one eye to look out.
Yeah?
You Crenshaw?
Long shot.
Where's Crenshaw?
Want a tip?
I already lost. I'm looking for Boots Crenshaw.
Who?
I told you.
No, I mean, if Boots was in, who would I say wanted him?
Look, he sent for me.
Sure. Who?
Okay, I'm Regan.
Did he say Regan?
Yeah, Regan.
Oh, let him in. Come on in, Regan. I've been expecting you.
He wasn't.
Oh, Longshot? He's the cautious type. Ain't that right, Longshot?
Yeah, cautious.
Regan, Longshot, Regan.
Fine.
He's the guy they call the Lion's Eye. Have a chair, Regan, have a chair.
Chair.
Thanks. Well, the lion tells me you got a problem.
Maybe yes, maybe no. That's what I hired you to find out.
Ah, you're the curious type, huh?
Well, it's maybe not that simple. How do you want me to give it to you?
You're calling it. Just line him up at the barrier.
Oh, you already know I'm an ex-jockey.
Yeah, Lion said.
Well, then I'll start there. Up to 5 years ago, I was doing all right. I could boot 'em home with the best of 'em. Then one day at the fairgrounds, I took a spill. Bad. The doc salted it away for 6 months in the hospital and then ended up by telling me I don't ride no more. Well, that's tough on a guy who's been a jock all his life. Longshot will tell you, huh, Longshot?
Yeah, tough.
Anyhow, after I get out, I bum around the oil for a while, but my dough runs out. So, me and Longshot gets an idea.
Yeah, idea.
Know what the idea was, Regan?
No. What was the idea?
Simple. All me and Longshot knows is horses.
Horses.
So we decide to sell tips.
Great idea.
Oh, but that's not all there is to it. We sell special tips.
Yeah, special.
Yeah, $100 a throw. But get this. You get your money back if our pick don't come in.
You don't need any private eye.
No, it really works. The big spenders go for it. Oh, sure, we have to pay back a lot of times, but we got enough winners to keep going pretty well. Up to a couple of weeks ago.
When your horses stop coming in.
Oh, no, the horses do fine, but there's one spender, my number one customer. We depend on him. And poof, all of a sudden he disappears.
Yeah, poof.
Now you're beginning to talk my language.
Yeah.
I don't mean you, Longshot.
Oh, sorry.
So I look for the missing customers, that it, Boots?
Yeah, sure, that's it.
Mm-hmm. What do I do when I find them?
Just find out about him, who he is.
Who he is?
Yeah.
You don't know who he is?
Well, that's just it. He always sends a chauffeur in with it, though. A guy named Mike. Mike says the spender's name is McMillan.
Yeah, McMillan.
Yeah, but you don't believe it.
Oh, sure. Only he's a good customer, Regan. I don't want to lose him.
Maybe what you really want is the connection between this McMillan and the spill you took back at the fairgrounds.
Oh, there ain't no connection. I didn't say that. You get me all confused.
Me too.
You spent a half an hour giving me background that led to nothing. Now, there was a reason.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the whole thing hangs together like a string of Chinese firecrackers.
No, I'm giving it to you straight. You gotta believe me, Regan. You gotta.
Boots. My fee says I gotta find your man. But believe him? Nope. Nothing says I gotta do that. I got up and walked out, leaving Boots Crenshaw and his friend Longshot looking at each other like bewildered kids after an unloaded gun went off. Well, I had two things. A chauffeur named Mike and a spender who probably wasn't named McMillan. I headed down the stairs toward the postage stamp lobby. That's when something caught my eye. She was tall, slim, and blonde, but didn't come out of a bottle. She was looking at me, and for some reason, what she saw made her cry. Wait a minute. Wait.
What do you want?
Well, you were looking at me, remember?
Well, that's not true.
Well, then you need bifocals.
I thought you were someone else.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, your mistake. See you around.
Oh, Mr. Regan.
Wow. Now we're getting acquainted.
I was outside the door. I heard your name. I'm his wife.
Crenshaw's?
Yes. What does Boots want with you, Mr. Regan? What did he tell you?
Nothing.
But he must have told you something.
Well, only about McMillan.
McMillan?
You don't know McMillan, huh?
No. Oh, Mr. Boots. Regan, Boots is in some kind of trouble. I've been scared stiff. If you know what it is.
I don't. But maybe you can help. Look, there's a bar across the street. I got a clean handkerchief. Let's talk. She didn't say anything, but I got the answer from her eyes. I held the door open for her, and we walked out onto the sidewalk. It was a cinch. Boots Crenshaw wasn't worth all those tears, but his wife kept on shedding them anyhow. At least until we got to the crosswalk at the corner. That's when something else happened. A baby blue convertible came cruising by, looking for a place to park. Chauffeur driven. It paused, then disappeared around the corner. The girl flinched. I had to choose between Mrs. Crenshaw or the convertible. The way she stared told me to choose the car. It took me 5 minutes and a walk around the block to locate it. The uniform and puttees were gone, so I slipped into the driver's seat. Blue and gold everywhere. Blue paint, blue upholstery. Gold steering wheel and knobs. I reached down for the registration. I didn't expect it to say McMillan. I didn't expect what I got either.
Save you the trouble, Peeper. It says Mike Johnson, 15 Windmill Road, Pacific Palisades.
I should have looked in the rear vision mirror. He was in the back.
So you like the car, huh?
It's nice.
Maybe you'd like to have one like it someday, huh?
I'll wait for the 51.
Oh, this one's nice. Notice the seats. Foam rubber, real leather.
I don't like the color.
Do 110 with no strain.
Yeah, well, I'll get out and you show me.
No. You better try driving it.
Too late. Some other day.
You ain't heard my sales pitch yet. Look in that rear vision mirror again.
That heater didn't come with it.
No. A gun is my sales persuader. Now, I think you do want to drive it after all, don't you, Peeper?
He moved up front beside me. I drove. He headed me out Lakewood Boulevard. It was dark before we passed the airplane plants. And then just when I decided I was going to end up off the end of some pier, he had me turn into the oil fields. He picked a side road that was just 2 tracks in the goo. Then the ride was over, and we pulled up in front of a backdrop of pumping oil wells.
Okay, Peeper, stop here and shut it off. Like I said, drives nice, huh?
Doesn't use this much oil.
No, none at all between changes. I made you come here just so we can talk.
Sure. Story of your life, maybe.
Story? No, I'm just going to tell you one little thing, that's all. You want to guess?
Sure. You're going to tell me who pays you and what for.
You talk awful tough, awful long.
What's McMillan got on Boots Crenshaw?
Get out.
Why the build-up of the $100 tip?
I said get out.
Okay. Okay.
Now walk a little ways. That's far enough. Wait a minute. Okay, Peeper.
How do I get it? In the back?
Told you I wanted to tell you just one thing, and here it is. Boots Crenshaw doesn't want your help. Lay off.
I waited for the shots. They didn't come. But by the time I turned around, the baby blue convertible had disappeared behind some pretty black oil wells. It took me an hour and a half to walk back to the boulevard and hitch a ride to my car. And it took another hour to buck the evening traffic out to Pacific Palisades. 15 Windmill Road was Spanish, and set way back behind a mailbox with no name. But it could support a lot of $100 tips. I pushed the bell and tried to figure out what I'd say when someone answered. That turned out to be no problem.
Yes. Well, hello, stranger. Come in. Come in out of the fog.
She was small and compact and brunette. She wore black horn-rimmed glasses, but they didn't get in the way. You could say the same for the sweater she was wearing.
Well, I said come in.
Yeah, you did. Thanks.
Damp tonight. I don't like to keep people standing on the doorstep.
You're real thoughtful.
There's a warm fireplace in here. You'd like the fireplace.
Sure.
We can talk better in there. You do want to talk about something, I suppose.
Lead the way.
There. That's better, isn't it? My name's Gloria.
Mine's Regan.
What are you selling, Mr. Regan?
Cadillacs.
We already have two.
This one's baby blue.
Oh, you've met Mike.
I sure have.
Is he in trouble again?
I'll talk to his boss about that.
Mr. Stevens?
I was told it was McMillan.
No. There's nobody named McMillan here. This is the Stevens place.
Oh, who are you?
I told you.
No, I mean to the boss.
I'm his secretary. I take dictation.
Yeah.
What do you want, Mr. Regan?
I'll tell the boss.
You couldn't wait for him.
Oh? When's he due back?
What did you say?
That's no answer.
Okay. So he won't be back for several weeks. I thought...
You thought wrong, lady. This is business.
About that fireplace.
So long, lady.
Yeah. I'll tell Stevens you called.
By the time I got back out to my car, the fog was really thick. I drove and thought about that name, Stevens. I wasted some time finding a real estate office that was open late. The secretary was right. Stevens did own the house. I spent the drive downtown thinking the whole thing over. It was past 11 when I got back to the Francesca Hotel for another go at Boots Crenshaw. He was in bed, but he didn't get up to answer the door. He wouldn't be answering any more doors. He was sprawled across the covers, face up. In one hand, he had his riding silks I'd seen tacked up on the wall. But this time I really noticed them, the color. They were baby blue and gold.
This is CBS, and you are listening to Gentlemen Prefer Horses, tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator.
It began when an ex-jockey who sold tips hired me to find out what happened to one of his best customers. He said the customer's name was McMillan, but a brunette secretary said it was Stevens. Wouldn't matter to the ex-jockey anymore. When I went back to his hotel to tell him, he was in bed. Not asleep. Dead. He was holding on to baby blue and gold shirt, the silks he'd worn in his last race. I called the police, and a tall, nervous lieutenant showed up.
Your name?
Regan.
His name?
Boots Crenshaw.
What's he to you?
A corpse.
Tell me.
Okay, he was a client. I'm with the Lion Agency. Here.
Jeff Regan. License. Uh-huh. Okay. He, didn't pay his fee?
Oh, you don't think I killed him?
Just thought I'd ask.
You got your answer.
You carry a gun?
Sometimes.
Uh-huh. I'll keep it for you.
I got a license for that.
Sure. Tell me more.
All right, he was an ex-jockey. He sold tips, hired me to find out why his best customer quit buying.
Customer's name?
McMillan, he said.
Find him?
No.
You're doing good.
The jockey had a partner. His name was Longshot Coy.
This even gets better, Regan. What else?
I met a fat guy in a blue and gold Cadillac. I met Crenshaw's wife. They didn't give me anything.
You travel fast.
I get paid for it.
Your story's lousy, Regan.
It's my story.
Okay, Ed, run him in.
Wait a minute.
Now there's more, huh?
No, look, I phoned you. Call Anthony J. Lyon, my boss. He'll check the story.
Okay, Gumshoe. We'll try that for a while. Stay close.
My gun.
Later. Maybe. Okay, Ed, let him go.
I headed outside for fresh air. But I didn't get far. A little guy buried in a big overcoat sidled up next to me.
Hey, Regan, I gotta talk to you. Surgeon.
It was Longshot Coy, somewhere underneath that upturned collar. He stuck with me. We turned down the block, away from the streetlights. Then he grabbed my arm.
Listen, Regan, I didn't kill Boots. I came in and found him that way, so help me. It was just a couple of minutes ago, maybe 15 or 20. The cops are going to make me the favorite, Regan. I'm not even an entry.
I'm listening.
I heard the shot. I was coming up the stairs. I heard it. One shot, then I found him dead.
Mm-hmm. See anything?
Whoever did it got away.
Well, why didn't you call the cops?
Me there practically when a shot was fired. The room clerk would tell him I'd gone up. I'd be a cinch to take the rap.
Well, the room clerk's going to tell him anyway.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You didn't just stop me to feel sorry for yourself.
Oh, no, I guess not. Regan, listen, there's something screwy. Something that don't add up right.
The wife?
Yeah. How do you know?
What about her?
She and Boots, they fought.
When?
Back in Chicago yesterday all the time.
Why?
The usual reason. Other day.
Boots like to play the field, huh?
He used to, but not lately. He loves Susan, his wife. He really loved her, Regan.
Mm-hmm. You think she's in it?
I don't know.
What about the fall?
Huh?
The fall. Fall Boots took back at the fairgrounds.
Oh, that.
Finish it.
Oh, we all make mistakes, Regan.
Mm-hmm. Boots threw that race, didn't he?
Well, I didn't say that.
For the dough, he and his wife left town, took a tour, finally wound up in L.A.
Boots was hurt bad, Regan.
Yeah, but that wasn't part of the fix.
I don't know.
You're leaving something out, Longshot.
I didn't kill him, honest, I didn't. What do I do, Regan?
Go back there and turn yourself in.
I take the rap if you cinch to photo finish with a gas chamber. I can't do that, Regan. I can't.
Your choice.
Yeah, I guess it's my choice. I'll see you later, Regan. I gotta think.
Longshot Coy wandered off in a daze, and I headed back to the bar across from the Francesca Hotel. The phone booth was empty. I called my boss, Anthony J. Lyon, asked him to phone Chicago and dig up everything he could on Boots Crenshaw and Longshot Coy. And while he was at it, I told him to check on a man named... Well, the line was going to be busy for a while, so I pulled up a bar stool. Then it hit me. I'd counted in everybody but the fat guy in the blue and gold convertible. I headed for my car in a hurry. Only I was too late.
Get in, Regan. I've been waiting for you.
He was sitting hunched behind the wheel, watching the fog. The gun in his hand was big and steady.
You had to show up sooner or later.
Just like Crenshaw.
Get in. Regan, I warned you to keep out of this. I told you it was nothing but trouble. You see, I was right. Trouble for you. This time I brought my knuckles, Regan. No answer? Oh, ain't that a shame?
When I came out of it, there was me and more fog, and the guy with the brass knuckles was gone. I tried to shake out the fog and get up. On the third try, I made it. The street was empty, and when I got out, even the damp air smelled good. I made my way back into the bar and found the phone booth and a nickel. The Lion answered.
Regan, where have you been? It's been over an hour since you called.
What'd you find out, Lion?
What did I find out, Jeffrey, my boy? I found out everything, but everything.
Okay, out with it.
Oh, you'll be proud of me for this. Proud indeed.
If we ever get to it.
Very well, Jeffrey. I found out Boots Crenshaw was injured on July 13th, 1946. Fairgrounds track, 7th race, 100,000 added. He was riding for...
The Stevens Stables.
Jeffrey, that's true. How did you know?
Go on.
The name of the horse was Jade Lady, the favorite, post position 2. Boots Crenshaw was...
wearing blue and gold. Stables colors.
Jeffrey, you're absolutely psychic. Yeah, let me see, where was I? Oh, yes, the horse fell while pulling away as he came into the home stretch. He was racing on the rail. There were those who said Boots deliberately threw the race. However, the racing steward said it was an accident.
Don't stop.
Well, Boots was laid up in the Chicago hospital for some time. Eventually, he recovered, left the city with his wife. They traveled extensively and then came to Los Angeles. That's all, Jeffrey.
What did you get on Longshot Coy?
No, very little. He was picked up a couple of times for bookmaking, otherwise a clean record.
That finish it?
Oh, wait, I almost forgot. There's one thing more. The police have located Susan Crenshaw, Boots' wife. They've arrested her on suspicion of the murder of her husband.
That really finishes it.
Jeffrey, what do you mean?
I mean, the guy we need is Stevens, the owner of Jade Lady. The horse Boots was riding when he took the fall.
You think he's behind this, Jeffrey?
Well, it makes sense that way. Boots louses up a $100,000 purse. The horse has to be destroyed. Stevens not only loses the race, but some people say Boots framed him.
Yes, I see what you mean.
So Stevens follows Boots to Los Angeles, sets up the contact, then settles the score.
Jeffrey?
Yeah?
I've got news for you, Jeffrey.
Okay, what news?
You're sure about Mr. Stevens?
Okay, so we're supposed to have left town. You know something different?
No, Mr. Stevens did leave town, Jeffrey, quite some time ago.
What are you getting at?
In fact, it's safe to say he is not coming back. You see, my boy, your number one suspect, Mr. Stevens, is dead. Good night, Jeffrey.
It had to be Stevens. It made sense with Stevens. The time, place, motive, everything. Even the blue and gold car fit with Boots Crenshaw's riding, only Stevens was dead. That fixed it. Somebody was running the Stevens stables, and that somebody was my answer. I headed the car out Sunset and didn't spare the horsepower. "25 minutes later, I pulled up in front of the place. The fog was thicker than the hair on a Russian wolfhound. I headed around toward the back of the house. I was almost on top of it when I saw it. The big baby blue convertible, white sidewalls and all, sitting in the driveway. From somewhere behind the car, somebody was coming to meet me. It didn't figure to be a welcoming committee, and the police still had my gun. Suddenly, that somebody was named Mike, and he was diving at me, only this time overhead, and I stayed that way. There was a gun in his hand, it was pointing in my direction. Only I caught the barrel and bent it back, brought it down in his ear. He lay there, peaceful, a halo of fog in his head. I didn't wait, because a light flicked on back of the house, and I headed for it in a hurry. I stood looking inside. The room was big and rich-looking, and inside it there were people, 2 of them. Through the window I could see a small guy in an overcoat and a girl with a gun. I didn't wait for an invitation. Drop the gun, lady.
Not a chance, Regan.
The shot went high. I dove across the room toward her. Long shot was right behind me. On the next one, here's where he shouldn't have been. The bullet grazed his head, and he went down unconscious. By the time she could turn the gun on me, I was there first.
Regan, let go.
Like you said, lady, not a chance.
Regan, my wrist.
Ah. Now it's the other way, Gloria.
You haven't got anything on me.
A book full.
You can't prove.
Did you kill Boots? Easy. Everything fits you that fits Stevens.
What do you mean?
My answer came out, Mr. Stevens. I was looking for a man. Now, that was my mistake. Change it around, call the man Mrs. Stevens, and you come up with the same total.
Stevens is dead.
Sure, but you're the wife. You've been running the stables. You're Mrs. H.V. Stevens.
Okay. So what if I am?
The blue and gold convertible told me you were mixed up in this. Crenshaw's shirt was blue and gold. It spelled Fairgrounds, 7th race, a horse named Jade Lady.
He threw the race.
Yeah, sure. But that wasn't why you tailed him.
Yeah?
He ran out on you, lady. If you wanted to sew him up, you could have done it after the race. But you weren't interested in a dead horse. You were interested in a live jockey.
His wife. She took him away.
She had a lot of nerve.
He left Chicago with her. He left me with a hospital bill.
Like a woman scorned. So you caught up with him, tried to force him back. And when he stuck with a wife, you killed him. Longshot Coy was going to be next. You brought him out here to the house.
Yeah. Boots and I are 2 of a kind, Regan. Dirty little rat could get me off. Never mind. Go on. Phone the police.
You know what? I will. You know, it looks like you're entered in a race for the gas chamber, sweetheart. And the way I figure it, you'll finish 5 lengths ahead. Well, the cops took it from there. Mike and his boss, Gloria Stevens, joined the paddy wagon set, and a young medic slapped some bandages on Longshot Coy's head. He was like new. Me? I watched the fog settle over the blue and gold convertible and drove home. The next afternoon, I dropped in on the Lion. He didn't look so chipper. The cigar he was smoking was strictly 3 for a dime.
Oh, hello, Jeffrey.
Why the long face, General?
Hey, Jeffrey, I'm not going to hide it from you. When the truth is hidden, only the liar must suffer.
Are you okay?
Hey, Jeffrey, my boy, I lied to you. I did not receive a $100 retainer from Boots Crenshaw.
What?
You see, Jeffrey, he had such an honest face, such an innocent look. Dirty crook.
You didn't.
Yes, Jeffrey, I did. Instead of taking the money, I let him talk me into taking a tip. Extra special tips, I believe he called it.
So you didn't collect a nickel?
No, I took the tip. After all, he guaranteed to pay me if I lost. How was I to know he was a cheat, a cad, a blackguard? Besides, it was sort of a hunch.
A hunch?
The horse, Autumn Frolic, reminded me of my youth.
How much did you bet?
$10 on the nose. Oh, why
David
did I...
Lion, did you see the afternoon paper?
No, why?
First race, Del Mar, winner, Autumn Frolic. Paid $21 for a $2 ticket.
What did you say, Jeffrey?
You won.
Jeffrey, we're rich. We're millionaires. We're in paradise.
Thanks to Boots Crenshaw.
Yes, of course. Oh, dear Boots, a fine young man, a good soul. Jeffrey, remind me to write a note of condolence to his mother.
Jeff Regan, Investigator, was written tonight by William Frug, directed by Sterling Tracy, and stars Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. Original music is by Dick Arant. Jeff Regan, Investigator, is heard transcribed each week at the same time over CBS. Joe Walter speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A young man walks into your office and tells you he wants to give himself up. You don't know if you can believe his story. Your job? Check it out.
It was Monday, December 10th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Freddy. We were on our way back from records and identification. It was 11:15 a.m. when we got to room 42. The squad room.
Joe?
Yeah, Danny.
Kid waiting to see you.
Did he say what he wanted?
No, said he wanted to talk to you, nobody else.
Did he give a name?
No, nice-looking kid.
All right, we'll talk to him.
Be right with it, Joe. I'll check the book.
All right, you want to see me?
You Sergeant Friday?
That's right. What can I do for you?
I want to talk to you. Nothing in the book, Joe.
What's your name, sir?
Emil Salter.
Emil, this is my partner, Frank Smith.
Hello, Mr. Smith. Hi, sir.
Why'd you ask for me?
Well, they told me to.
Who's that?
The men in that room across the hall, the business office.
I see.
I sure hope you can help me, Sergeant Friday. I'm in trouble. Real bad.
All right. So I'll sit down here and you can tell us about it. Go ahead.
Well, one thing, you should know I came in to give myself up.
Is that right?
I didn't mean to do wrong.
All right, what'd you do?
Killed a man.
Emil Charles Salter was 18 years old, 5 feet 7 and a half, 137 pounds. He had light blonde hair and blue eyes. He was wearing a tan windbreaker and tan pants. He looked tired, and he told us that he hadn't eaten in several hours. We sent out for some hot coffee and sandwiches. Frank checked his name and description through R&I, but he found that he had no record in our files. We asked him to tell us the story.
Do you know the man you killed? No, I never saw him before.
Well, how'd you kill him?
Ran him down.
In a car?
No, a truck.
Well, where'd this happen?
Coast Highway near Malibu. Just this side.
When?
Last night. I guess it must have been around 10. It should have been around then because I left town at 8:30. It took about an hour and a half to drive up there.
Now, you sure the man was dead?
Yeah, I looked at him. It wasn't hard to tell.
Did you try to help him at all?
No. As soon as I looked at him, I knew there wasn't anything I could do. I just got back in the truck and took off.
Where's the truck now?
I left it. Just the other side of Malibu. It broke down, so I left it.
Mm-hmm.
When it stopped, I sat there for a while. Tried to think why I was hung up in something like this. Tried to figure why. Didn't come, so I got out and started to walk.
Uh-huh.
All the time I was thinking about the man. I could almost see him. Guess it got to me, so I came back, caught a ride, and came back.
Hey, Joe, here's the food.
Oh, thanks, Danny. Where are we?
Terminal $1.60.
Wait a minute. You got 15 cents, Frank?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, here, Danny.
Thanks. A couple cartons in there, Black.
Right, thank you. All right, here, Emil. Help yourself.
Thank you. Sure hungry. I haven't had anything to eat since last night.
Mm-hmm. You want to tell us about the truck?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it?
I stole it. That's wrong, too, I know. Everything I do seems to be wrong.
Where'd you take it from, son?
Parking lot near where I used to live.
Where's that?
A rooming house on 9th Street near Figueroa.
Can you show us where the truck is now?
I guess so. I don't think anybody could move it. Broke down, like I said.
Where you from, Emil?
Waukesha, Wisconsin. It's a small city near Milwaukee. Maybe you've heard of it.
No, I can't say I have.
Got good water. Springs and wells. Real fine. Manufacture things, too. Motors, jacks, lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
Sure is a nice little place.
How come you left there?
Lots of reasons.
In trouble?
Yeah. In a way, nothing serious. It was lots of things. You know, at home. I don't know just how to say it.
You ever been arrested?
No. Well, not booked or anything. Cops took me in a couple of times.
What for?
Little things. Like one night we broke in a church. Didn't go in to steal anything. One of the guys just wanted to play the organ.
Mm-hmm. Your parents alive?
Yeah.
When'd you leave home?
Last July. I thought about it for a long time. Figured I might have a better chance where nobody knew me. Looks like it didn't make any difference.
When did you get here?
Last part of July. Sure was different than Waukesha.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, it's so big. Then I didn't know anyone. Pretty lonesome at first. But then I got lucky.
Yeah?
I got this job. Nothing important. Just washing dishes at this cafe. I get $25 a week in food.
Yeah.
Got a little money ahead. Bought some clothes. Not real fancy, but they were new and they give me a lift. You know.
Sure.
Had a nice room, too. Clean, handy to work. Thought I had it made. Then the axe fell.
How do you mean?
I got sick. Couldn't get out of bed one morning. The landlord called a doctor. He said I had rheumatic fever.
Yeah?
The doctor called for an ambulance, and they took me to General Hospital.
Uh-huh.
Things are bad enough when you feel good. I was in the hospital, and I didn't feel like nothing.
You remember the doctor's name?
No, sir, I don't.
How long were you in the hospital?
3 days.
They discharged you in 3 days, did they?
No, sir, I ran away.
Why?
Well, the Travelers' Aid Society said that they were going to send me back home. I didn't want that, so I ducked out.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to my room. I got a couple of bucks I had hid and left.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have any idea what I was going to do, but I didn't want to be sent back to Wisconsin.
That's when you stole the truck, huh?
Yeah, it looked like a way out of town.
Uh-huh.
The whole thing doesn't seem like it really happened. You know how when you're half asleep and the radio's on, the things come through, but they're not real clear.
Yeah.
Like that. I remember riding in the truck after I hit the man, trying to think what I was going to do, how I was alone.
Mm-hmm.
Story of my life. Seems like I was always alone. Sure was last night. I don't know. I guess I never do anything right, do I? Guess I just don't have the nerve.
You did this time. You came here, didn't you? We put in a call to accident records and verified Emil Salter's story. The body of a man identified as Lloyd Holtman, transient, had been found by officers of the Highway Patrol. Holtman had apparently been struck by a vehicle traveling at high speed as he walked along the road. We checked with Lieutenant Lee Jones at the crime lab, and we found that his division had made an investigation. Frank and I left the office and went over to see him. He showed us pictures taken at the scene. On the victim's coat, the lab crew had been able to find traces of blue paint. Jones was not able to tell us what type of vehicle had hit the victim, but he did say that from the high rate of speed at the time of impact, there would be extensive damage to the front end of the vehicle. Emil Salter was booked on charges of violation of Section 480 V.C., a felony. Frank and I checked him out of the main jail and drove out to where he'd left the truck. He told us to drive up Highway 101. When we got past the Malibu colony, he directed us to turn off onto a dirt road. We drove about 200 yards, and then he asked us to stop.
You sure this is where you left the truck?
Yeah, just over there, behind those trees. When the engine started acting up, I looked for a place to park. Figured it'd be better if I got off the road. There it is. You can see it now.
Uh-huh. This is the same one you stole last night, is it?
Yes, sir. It's the one I was driving.
I'll check the front end.
Yeah. Did you have anything to drink last night?
No, I had enough of that at home.
Mm-hmm. You're sure this is the truck you had when you hit that fellow?
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know what all the questions are about. I said I did it. I'm not trying to hide anything.
There's nothing up there, Joe. Front end's clean.
Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
No.
I don't understand what the problem is.
Well, what you tell us doesn't add up with the evidence here.
What do you mean?
Well, the report we got says that the man was killed by a blue vehicle.
Uh-huh.
Now take a look at that truck, will you?
Yeah?
Black. We put in a call to the office, and we asked them to send the tow truck out and impound the vehicle. We stood by until they arrived. Frank and I drove Emil Salter to the scene of the accident. He pointed it out for us. According to the information we'd gotten, the location he gave us was the place where Lloyd Holtman had been found. We checked the area, but we failed to come up with anything new. 5:20 p.m., we returned the suspect to the main jail, and we went back to the office. We sent a radiogram to the authorities in Waukesha asking for all available information on Salter. At 6:47 p.m., we checked out of the office. The next morning, December 11th, Frank and I met in the squad room.
Hi, Joe.
Good morning.
See the morning papers?
Yeah, guess there isn't much news, huh?
I sure gave Salter a lot of space.
Yeah, wish we could find the answers.
I called Lee when I got in. They went over the truck, found a lot of the kids' prints, but they didn't turn anything that would point to an accident.
The way the body looked, there should be something on the car that ran him down, shouldn't there?
Excuse me?
Yes, sir.
Wonder if y'all could help me out?
Well, we'll try, sir. Come on in. What is it you want?
Well, that there kid in the paper?
Sir?
You know, a young kid that ran down the old bum, Emo something?
Salter.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, what do you know about it?
Well, just take it easy now. A couple of things I gotta be sure of before I tell you anything.
All right, what's that?
Well, I ain't gonna get mixed up in nothing.
We can't promise you that till we heard what you got to tell.
Now, I'm wasting my time. Bye.
All right, just a minute.
Huh?
Maybe I better straighten you out, mister.
On what?
Well, this kid's sitting in jail right now. He's got a pretty serious charge against him.
I didn't make it.
Yes, sir, that might be true, but I better tell you this. If you know anything about a felony that's been committed, and you withhold that information, you're liable for prosecution as an accessory. Do you know that?
That's the law?
Those are the words. Now, the only thing we're interested in is getting the case off the books. We're not going to give your name to the papers.
That's a promise?
That's a promise.
Okay. I told you it'd be pretty bad for me if any of what I tell you gets back to my family.
All right. Now, what's your name?
Lawrence States.
That's Loren?
Yeah.
You want to sit down?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Now, what do you know about this?
That emo kid, he ain't guilty.
How's that?
He didn't do it.
How do you know?
Oh, I seen the accident. Seen the whole thing.
You want to start at the beginning?
Now, you're sure none of this is going to get out?
We told you, not from us.
Okay. Well, I took a drive Saturday night up the coast. I had dinner.
Uh-huh.
Now, on the way back, I stopped and parked a while. You know, kind of looked out at the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, I was just leaving, and I saw this old guy walk along the road, bent stiff, you know. Had a blanket roll on his back, just walking along. You know how to do.
Yes, sir.
All of a sudden, this car come roaring down the road. Thing must have been doing at least 90. Come roaring around and turned right at this old guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, the old guy saw the car coming right at him, kind of turned and started to run. Wasn't any place for him to go. It's where the road's cut right out of the mountain, you know.
Yeah, we were there, we know.
Well, I guess he figured the driver swing around him or something, so he run over the side of the pavement, trying to get out the way.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do no good. That car plowed right into him. Must have knocked him 150 feet.
122.
Well, it seemed a lot further than that.
Mm-hmm.
Did the driver make any attempt to stop after he hit the old man?
Yep, pulled over the side of the road. Didn't get out of the car, though.
Uh-huh.
Just stayed there a minute, then he drove off.
Yes, sir.
Well, so I was going to go over and see what I could do for the old fella. I really was. And then this truck drove up. Guy stopped and got out. Walked over to the fella. I figured he'd be able to take care of it, so I left.
Did you see the driver of the truck?
Yes, sir. Saw him good when he walked in front of the headlights. The same fella in the paper, that emo, what's his name?
Salter.
Yeah, Salter.
You're pretty sure it's the same man?
Yes, sir. Now, like I told you, I got a good look at him.
Mm-hmm. How about the other man? What can you tell us about him?
Not much, except he was driving too fast.
Well, how about the car? You know what kind it was?
I didn't get a good look at that.
How about the color? You notice that?
Yeah, it was a blue, kind of light color.
Can you give us any description of the driver?
No, sir.
Could you tell us if it was a man or a woman?
Oh, it was a man. I noticed that when he slowed down. He kind of leaned out the window and looked back down the road. It was a man, all right.
Could you see the color of his hair? Anything at all about him?
No, sir. There wasn't any lights up there. You know, it was dark.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see very good. The main reason I know the driver was a man was the lights from the truck kind of picked him up, and that's when he left.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right, Mr. States. We appreciate what you've told us.
Glad to help as long as nobody's going to know. It'd be pretty embarrassing.
Well, how's that?
Well, so you see, me and the wife, we ain't been getting along too good. Nothing worth talking about. But a fella don't like to be nagged at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's just a little secretary in our office, and she and I talk once in a while. A couple of times we gone out for morning coffee together.
Mm-hmm.
This last beef with my wife, I figured I'd fix it good. So I asked the secretary for a date. She gave it to me. We got together Saturday night. Had dinner at a place up near Malibu.
Mm-hmm.
On the way back, we just parked and talked. Nothing wrong, mind you. But I don't guess my wife would understand if she found out.
I see.
So you see why I don't want nobody to know about Saturday? It'd be kind of tough to explain.
Yes, sir.
Got to thinking about it, though, and what that kid, Emo...
Salter.
Yeah. Got to thinking what he must be going through and decided maybe I better tell about it.
Well, sir, it's going to help him a lot.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, something else you might be able to use.
What's that?
Might not be worth anything out of state and all.
What's that?
The hit-and-run car?
Yeah.
I got the license number.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
We got the license number of the hit-and-run car. Also the fact that it carried an Illinois plate. We put out a local and an APB on it. We got in touch with the Department of Motor Vehicles back east, and we obtained the owner's name. According to their records, he had notified them that he was moving to California. They were able to supply us with a North Hollywood address for him. We checked the name through our records section, but we found nothing. At 5:20 p.m., Frank and I drove out to see him. Yes, Charles Bookman?
That's right.
Police officers, we'd like to talk to you.
Come on in.
Thank you. My partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hello. How do, sir? I was just having dinner. You mind if I tell my wife to go ahead?
Well, we can wait if you like.
No, I'll be right back.
All right. You want to wait just a minute? Mind if we go with you?
I'm just going into the dining room.
Yes, sir, but we'll still have to be with you.
What's this about?
You own a 1954 Pontiac.
Yeah?
Light blue.
That's right. Something happened to the car?
We want you to tell us, if you will.
Well, I don't know what this is all about. Seems you ought to be able to tell me.
Where is the car?
Well, I don't know.
You own a car and you don't know where it is?
That's right.
Has it been stolen?
Well, I don't know. For all I know, it could have been. I haven't seen it for a couple of days.
Well, who has it, do you know?
My brother-in-law. I let him drive it.
You don't know where he is?
No, if he smashed up the car, he's going to pay for it, though. I'm not going to be responsible.
I'm afraid he's done more than that.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a real bum. My wife's kid brother can't hold a job for more than 5 minutes. All the time sponging off me.
When'd you let him take the car?
Let's see. It was Saturday morning. I told him I wouldn't be using it for a couple of days, so he could have it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's my car you're asking about. I got a right to know. If something's wrong, I ought to notify the insurance company.
Yes, sir, we understand. But it'd be better if we talked to your brother-in-law about it first. You want to give us his full name?
Casey Stedman.
Steadman, is that right?
That's right.
How about a description?
No problem. I think I got a picture around if you want that.
Yes, sir, it'd help.
I'll get it for you.
What were you doing over the weekend?
I was home. I'm branch manager for the company I work for. I got an annual report I have to get out. I worked on that.
Every night?
Yep. Started it Friday night, finished it up Monday afternoon. That's one reason I let Casey take the car.
What?
To get him out of the house so I could get some work done.
Oh.
But all he does is sit around and look at the TV. Starts right with the programs for kids and goes straight through the day. I think there's something wrong with his ears, too. Always got set turned up real loud. And anybody can think when he's watching a show.
Yes, sir.
I had to get him out of the house. Wife won't even let me say anything to him. She knows how important that work is, too. Sometimes I wonder if it's worth it.
Well, I wouldn't know about that, sir.
Just once. Just once, I'd like to be able to prove to my wife what a bum he is. Just once, so she really believes it.
Well, if he was driving your car Saturday night, we'll let you know.
What'll that prove?
She'll believe it then. We got a complete description of Casey Stedman along with a picture of the suspect. We went back to the office and got out a supplemental broadcast and an APB on him. A check at R&I failed to turn up any information. We talked with his friends and his known associates. None of them could tell us where he was. None of them had seen him since the accident. Wednesday, December 12th, we got a call from one of the larger garages in the city. Yes, sir, that's right. Mm-hmm. When did he call you? I see. All right, we'll be right over. No, if he does, will you try to stall him till we get there? Right. Thank you. Bye. Garage over on 6th.
Yeah.
Guy hauled a car in this morning, front end all smashed up. Started to work on it, and he thought he better call us.
Blue Pontiac?
That's right, stains on the fender.
Yeah.
Mechanic thinks they're blood. Frank and I left the office, and we drove over to the garage. We talked to the owner. He told us that he'd gotten a call to bring a tow truck to the corner of Main and Crocker Streets. When he got there, he met a man who asked him to tow a car to the garage and to do some repair work on the right front fender. We showed him Stedman's picture. He gave us a positive identification. We checked the car over. It was a 1954 blue Pontiac sedan. The license number was the same one that we'd gotten previously. The garage owner went on to tell us that the suspect wanted the car on Thursday night and that it was important that the repairs be made by that time. We asked that we be notified in the event the suspect made an appearance before then. We called the crime lab and we asked them to come down and go over the car. Frank and I went back to the office and we met with Captain Lorman. We told him what we'd found. He told us to be at the garage the first thing Thursday morning in the event Stedman made an early appearance. Frank and I got there at 7:30 a.m. At 4:30 in the afternoon, the suspect still hadn't shown. 4:45, 4:50 p.m.
Maybe you figure something's wrong.
Doesn't seem likely. No way for him to find out.
Think his sister tipped him?
No. Bookman said he wouldn't say anything to her about it. Met him, Frank.
Yeah. We got a live one.
Let's take it. Stedman?
Yeah?
I'd like to talk to you.
Why? Do I know you?
Police officers. You on that blue Pontiac over there?
Grab him, Joe. All right, mister. Take it easy. Go! I know nothing about it. Nothing. I never saw the car before.
The fellow that towed it in says you're the one who called him.
Well, he made a mistake. Must be a lot of men who look like me. Nothing special about me.
Our crime lab's gone over the car. As soon as we roll your fingerprints, we'll be able to tell for sure.
What's that going to prove? Maybe I did drive the car. Nothing wrong with that. No law that says a man can't drive a car.
We got one that says you can't use it to kill somebody.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you don't believe me, do you?
Nope.
That's kind of lousy, isn't it?
How do you mean that?
You walk in here, you already made up your mind I'm guilty. You call that fair?
We just got to go with the evidence, mister.
Well, you got nothing to prove I was in that car. Nothing to show that I killed anybody. Just trying to make me say I did something I don't know nothing about.
All right, come on, let's go.
You just wait. You take me to court, I'll tell the whole world about this lousy deal.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the world.
Yeah?
But we'll be there to listen. We took the suspect back down to the city hall. As soon as we had his fingerprints taken and compared with the ones found in the car, we showed him the physical evidence that we had. When it was presented, he confessed to killing Lloyd Holtman. He made a statement, and we took him over to the main jail where he was booked in on a charge of violation of Section 480 V.C., a felony. Before we left the jail, we had Emil Salter brought from his cell to one of the interview rooms. He looked like he hadn't slept for several days. Sit down, Emil.
Thanks.
How do you feel?
Not too good, Mr. Friday.
Well, we got some news for you.
Yeah?
You didn't kill that man.
You're not lying to me.
No, we've got the guy that did it.
Oh, that's good. Since that night, all I've thought about was that man lying there. I'm glad it wasn't me.
Yeah?
You know, you still have to answer for auto theft.
Sure, I know. Funny. The reason I left home was to build something new. Here I am in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Just me, I guess. I blame my parents, my brothers, everybody. All the time it's me. There's nobody else to blame, really.
Well, you can try it again, Emil.
Yeah. But it'll probably be the same. Always on the outside looking in.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like back in high school. Maybe you'll think it's funny, but like one time I wanted to go to the junior prom. Real bad. Didn't have the right clothes. Didn't have a date. Who'd want to go out with a shrimp like me?
Did you ask anybody to go with you?
No, I knew better. But I went to the prom anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All by myself. No date, no nice clothes. Just old cords and a beat-up jacket. Want to know how I went?
Uh-huh.
I sat on the fire escape. Yeah, I watched the whole thing through the gym window, sitting on a fire escape. They had lanterns and stuff. Kids all dressed up real pretty. It was nice to watch.
Uh-huh.
Saw the Grand March, everything. Only one trouble.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was all alone, looking in from the outside.
Well, we got to shove off, Helen.
Well, thanks for coming over.
It's all right.
See you, son.
Sure.
You want to wait here? We'll send an officer in for you.
Yes, sir. Thanks again.
Kind of nice kid, don't you think?
Yeah, guess he is.
Guess a lot of things caught up with him. Kind of gives you a funny feeling talking to him.
How do you mean that?
Well, you know how when he worked all night and you get home early in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
You're too tired to sleep and you hear a train whistle from the other side of town. Listening to that kid, I got the same sort of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a bad kid, not really. You think I'm wrong, Joe?
Well, I guess if you are, it makes two of us.
Yeah?
That whistle you're talking about?
Uh-huh.
I hear it every once in a while myself.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On April 16th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Casey Harrison Stedman was tried and convicted of violation of Section 480 of the Vehicle Code law. Violation of Section 480BC is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of from 1 to 5 years. Emil Donald Salter pled guilty to 1 count of grand theft auto. In the interests of justice, he was placed on probation for a period of 3 years.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. On the way back to the office, you receive a call. It's about an attempted suicide. You're in the immediate vicinity. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, You will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, March 24th. It was windy in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Warman. My name's Freddy. We were answering an ambulance follow-up, attempted suicide. It was 11:52 p.m. when we got to 2296 Whitworth Drive. Front door.
The place is sure lit up.
Yeah. Better try it again, huh?
Yeah.
You the police?
Yes, ma'am. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Come on in.
Thank you.
He's in there at the study.
Who is he?
Carl Hamlin.
Are you Mrs. Hamlin?
Yes.
Door's locked. Oh. Hamlin. Hamlin. Come on, open the door.
He has a gun. Said he was going to kill himself.
Yes, ma'am. Is there another key to this door?
No.
Well, give me a hand, Frank. We'll try to force it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let's try it this way. Come on.
Guess it isn't going to give.
No. There's another way into the room, ma'am.
No, this is the only door.
How about windows?
What?
Windows leading into it.
Yes, off the front porch. He came in here drunk, caused a scene.
Down this way?
Yes.
Just the window here?
Yes, miss.
You see anything?
No, let me have your flashlight.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah. I can see him there on the floor.
Can't you do something? He might still be alive.
No, the screen's locked.
You got something to cut it with?
Just a minute. Try these keys. Yeah. That's got it.
Good. Okay. See if we can get the window open.
Yeah. No, I can't. I'm going to have to break this, man.
Well, I don't care as long as you get to him.
All right. I want to hold the light for him.
Yeah.
You better stand back, man. The glass here.
Please,
All
let's
right.
hurry.
Can you reach the latch from there?
Wait a minute. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I got it.
I'll give you a hand in.
All right.
Can you see if he's still alive?
Just a minute. We'll have to get into the room first, ma'am.
Watch your step there, Joe.
Yeah. All right, come on. I'll give you a hand.
All right.
Thanks. As soon as the ambulance gets here, will you show the attendant how to get in?
Yes, can you tell if he's alive yet?
No, ma'am, not yet. You want to get the door? I'll check the victim.
Yeah. How about it?
No, we better have the attendant look at him.
Uh-huh. Take a look at that. I wonder we couldn't force the door.
Yeah, the chair up to the knob.
Locked and bolted. He must have wanted real privacy.
Looks like he's got it now.
That's the room right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Oh, hi.
He's dead. Dead.
You want to wait in there, ma'am?
I didn't think he'd really do it.
How about it?
Just a minute, huh? No, nothing. He's dead. That his wife?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to have to do this, ma'am, but there are a couple of things I've got to know.
Go ahead.
Want to give me his full name?
Carl Hamlin,
His age?
43.
Does he live here?
No. We had a house over in Bronson, 947. You have to go through all this.
No, that's all, Mrs. Hamlin. I get the rest of it later.
Frank.
Yeah.
You want to finish up here?
Sure.
It's all so wrong. Carl's dead. It's all wrong.
Yes, ma'am. Is there anything we can get for you?
No.
Do you want to go in the other room and sit down? Well, that's better. Would you like to call your doctor for you?
I've already called him from my mother. He's on the way over.
Where is she now?
In the back bedroom. She's laying down. This whole thing's been a shock for her.
Yes, ma'am. I can understand.
When I talked to him, he said for me to give her one of the pills he prescribed. It's supposed to make her sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to talk to her.
Yes, we probably will.
I hope you won't have to do it tonight. This whole thing's been a terrible shock to her. She's not too well anyway.
Well, we'll try to avoid upsetting her any further.
I'd appreciate it more than I could tell you.
All right, Miss Hamlin. There are a few questions we've got to ask if you feel up to answering them.
Might as well get it over with. What do you want to know?
Do you want to tell us what happened?
Well, Carl came over tonight, drunk. He caused a big scene.
Your husband doesn't live here, then?
No, we're separated.
I see. Who was here when the shooting took place?
My mother and myself.
Anybody else living here?
No, just the two of us.
All right. What time did Mr. Hamlin get here?
I'm not sure. I was asleep.
I beg your pardon?
I was asleep. I don't know.
I see. You weren't expecting him then?
No. Last time I saw him, I told him to leave me alone. Said I'd get a court order if I had to.
Yeah.
We've been separated about a week this time.
This isn't the first time, then?
No, there's been other times. This was the worst. I told him I was finished, that I didn't want anything more to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been calling. Here, where I work, most of the time he was drunk. Kept asking for reconciliation, saying how sorry he was and asking me to take him back.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming it all on him. I know some of it was my fault.
All right, you want to go on?
He called me this afternoon. He had to see me. He had it all worked out so we could get back together again. I told him I didn't want to see him. I said for him to stay away.
Yeah.
I came home and told my mother about it. Said Carl might show up, but if he did, I didn't want to see him.
All right, go on.
I kind of half expected him to show up, but he didn't. I went to bed after the 10:30 news. Mother stayed up to read. First I knew if there was anything wrong when I heard the shot. I got up and came right downstairs. Mother was standing in front of the study door. She told me that Carl was inside, that he'd shot himself. I tried to call him. First I thought he was playing some kind of a joke.
Yeah.
My mother said she'd heard Carl fall down in the room. I called you right away.
Joe.
Yeah. What do you got?
DOA slip. I'll put in the call to the photo lab in the corner.
Okay.
I checked the guns, 38 revolver, one shot fired.
Well, that fits with the story I just got from his wife.
I'll make the calls. Wonder if I could use your phone, Mrs. Hamlin.
What?
I'd like to use your phone, please.
Oh, it's in the hall, on the table there.
Thank you.
Did your mother tell you what happened?
Yes, in a way.
Oh, how do you mean that?
She's over 70, Sergeant Friday. Thing like this isn't easy to go through at that age.
I see.
Well, my mother and Carl didn't get along. He always said that she caused the trouble between us. Told me a couple of times that if she'd keep her nose out of our business, we might be able to get along.
Wonder if it'd be possible for us to talk to her.
You have to.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
I'll go see.
All right, thank you.
Crew's on the way, Joe.
Going to be more policemen out here?
Yes, ma'am. We'll try to make it as brief as possible.
I'd appreciate it.
We'll do everything we can.
I'll go get my mother.
Thank you.
She gave you the story?
As much as she knew.
What do you mean?
Well, she says she wasn't in the room at the time. Her mother saw it happen.
Oh.
Did you turn anything in the other room?
Mm-mm.
As soon as we get a statement from her mother and the coroner gets here, we can shove off.
Yeah.
You can sit over here, Mother.
Yes, dear.
These men want to ask you some questions. This is my mother, Mrs. Gaylor. Sergeant Friday. This is Officer Smith.
How do you do, ma'am?
Hi, ma'am.
How do you do?
We'll try to make this as brief as possible, Mrs. Gaylor. Just a couple of questions we've got to ask.
You go right ahead.
If you get tired, Mother, you tell them and they'll stop.
Yes, dear.
Now, what time did your son-in-law get here tonight?
I'm not sure. I think it was about 11:30. Nora told me Mr. Hamlin might be coming over. At that time of night, you'd hardly expect anybody to come calling, would you?
No, ma'am.
He did. He always was doing something no one else did. I think he just sat around and tried to figure things to do that was different. Like tonight. Came in drunk, yelled about how he wanted to have a showdown. I didn't know what he was talking about. Started to yell at me. Told me how the split up was my fault. Started to curse at me. I'm 73, Mr. Friday. I've seen a lot of things. Met a lot of people. Isn't anybody who can talk to me like that. I told Mr. Hamlin. Told him to get out of the house. That's when he pulled his gun out of his pocket.
Yes, ma'am.
Had it right in his coat, the outside pocket.
I see.
I told him. I said, Mr. Hamlin, you just stop this foolishness and get out of here. That's what I said to him.
Yes, ma'am.
He just looked at me and said, yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Those are the exact words. Then he told me how he's going to kill himself to show me. I thought it was some kind of dramatics. Mr. Hamlin was that kind, you know, always play acting around.
Yes, ma'am.
Not this time. Next thing I know, he ran into the study and locked the door. After that, there was a shot, and I heard him fall down. Right then's when Nora came into the room.
All right, Miss Gaylor. I think we have all the information we need now.
Okay, if I go to bed then?
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Good night, then. You want to help me, dear?
Yes, Mother. I'll be right with you.
I'll be waiting up for you. Mr. Friday,
Yes, ma'am.
anything more you want to know about Mr. Hamlin, I'll tell you.
No, I don't think there'll be anything else, ma'am.
If there is, I'll tell you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Gaylor.
I'll be in my room, Nora.
All right, Mother, I'll be right there. It's taking this a lot better than I thought she would.
Miss Hamlin,
Yes.
did your husband ever talk about suicide before?
Yes, several times. Just this last week, I thought he was being dramatic again. I didn't pay much attention to him. It's so hard to tell if he was drunk or if he really meant something. All the years we were married, I don't think he was ever really serious.
You got it wrong, haven't you? He was this time. 1:14 a.m. The photographer got to the house and took pictures of the room. The coroner removed the body to the county morgue, and at 2:37 a.m., Frank and I left the house. We went back to the office and filled out the 3.11.1 form, listing the death of Carl Martin Hamlin as a suicide. Frank called the coroner's office to find when we could get the results of the autopsy. They told us we'd have the necessary information late that afternoon. 3:18 a.m., we signed out of the office and went home. At 10:15 that morning, we got a call from Ray Pinker. He asked us to come right over to the crime lab.
We were running a routine check this morning. Came up with a couple of things I think you'd like to know.
All right, what you got, Ray?
Here, take a look. Now, this is a bullet we fired from the gun found in the victim's hand.
Yeah.
Now, there. You can see it weighs 130 grains.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is the bullet that killed the man. Take a look.
That's all out of shape.
Mm-hmm. See anything else?
No, looks all right to me.
Yeah, what are you building, Ray? Well, I checked this one pretty carefully. Made sure that all of it was here. You know, that none of the lead had been sheared off the bone tissue.
Yeah.
None missing. It's complete.
Yeah.
Now, take a look. Yeah, let me put this one on the scale. Now, check it yourself.
95 grains.
Yeah? 35 grains difference. Now, let me show you something else here. I figured the length of both bullets. They don't check out either.
What's it mean, Ray?
The bullet that killed Hamlin's a .380. It's a European calibration.
Mm-hmm.
The gun he had in his hand's a .38 revolver.
Yeah.
.380 is automatic ammunition.
Yeah.
This fellow Hamlin pulled a pretty neat trick.
Well, what do you mean, Ray?
He killed himself with a bullet that couldn't possibly be fired from the gun he was holding.
Huh. Something sure out of place.
Yeah. Might as well tear up the forms you filled out on this one. No suicide.
Yeah.
You got to find a murder gun.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
11:12 a.m. Frank and I, along with Ray Pinker, left the crime lab and we drove out to see Nora Hamlin. From the physical evidence on hand, the way the door had been locked, and the fact that the windows had been bolted from the inside, it appeared unlikely that anybody could have left the room after Carl Hamlin had been shot. Yet from the information we'd gotten from Pinker, there had to be another gun involved in the killing. 11:24 a.m. We got to the house on Whitmore Drive.
Good morning. I didn't expect to see you back so soon. You want to come in?
Yes, ma'am. Miss Hamlin, this is Mr. Pinker from our crime lab. Ray, Miss Hamlin.
It's nice to know you, Mr. Pinker.
How do you do?
Are there some more questions you have to ask?
Yes, ma'am, that's right. Wonder if we could take another look at the study.
Oh, sure. Didn't the men who were here last night get what they needed?
Well, we'd just like to check it again with Mr. Pinker here.
Uh-huh. Well, you know where it is.
How's your mother feeling this morning?
She had a good sleep. The doctor gave her a sedative. She's still in bed.
We'll try not to disturb her.
Well, you go ahead with what you have to do. I'm trying to get the house in order. If there's anything you want, I'll be across the hall.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Right over here, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we found him. You can see there where we had to break the window to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You got that sketch you made last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. You want to take a look, Ray?
Yeah. As you can see, the body was about here.
Mm-hmm.
Over here. And the feet were about here. That's about right, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah. It was right next to the chair there.
Mm-hmm. That's the way I got it there. Just about on the perfect line between the floor lamp and the chair over there.
Mm-hmm.
What about the gun?
In his right hand.
Was the gun in his hand when you found him?
Yeah, that's right. Pictures from the photo lab will bear that out.
Sure is out in left field.
How do you mean?
I talked to Doc Newbar when he sent the bullet over.
Mm-hmm.
The way he described the wound, it's pretty tough to buy that a right-handed man could shoot himself so the slug would end up where it did.
Exactly how do you mean?
Well, the bullet entered just to the right of the center of his chest. About here.
Uh-huh.
Came to rest under the right arm, here. Line of travel's way off.
Sure would have been an easier way to do it, huh?
Yeah. What about the door when you found it?
I'll show you how it was locked. Give me that chair, Frank.
Yeah. Here you go.
Well, the key was turned. Bolt was thrown.
Mm-hmm.
And then this chair was propped up under the knob like this.
Mm-hmm. How about the key? Was it still in the lock?
Yeah.
Sure looks like he meant the door to stay shut.
Yeah, we could figure that.
Place looks pretty solid. Plaster walls. Not much chance of anybody getting through them.
Mm-hmm.
You checked the bookcases? What do you mean? Any of them pull away from the wall? Well, I looked at them last night. They all seemed solid enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got any ideas, Ray?
I don't know. The way that door looks, rest of the room, doesn't seem likely anybody could have shot him and then gone outside and locked the door.
Think they could have come in through the window?
You had to break it.
Yeah.
The way it's set up, you shouldn't have any trouble finding the suspect.
What do you mean?
Find a butler built like an envelope.
Mighty funny.
You didn't see a shell casing around last night, did you?
Well, there wasn't any reason to look for it.
Mm-hmm. There's no sign of one now. Looks like the room's been cleaned.
Yeah. Well, I guess we better check with the Hamlin woman, huh?
And get that stuff away from the door.
Miss Hamlin. Miss Hamlin?
Oh, yes, just a minute. Something you want?
Yes, ma'am. Has anybody been in the study since we left last night?
I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. You didn't say anything about it.
Well, did you clean the room?
Yes, I told you. I was straightening up the house. I ran the vacuum in here.
Did you see an empty shell casing?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, it looks like this, ma'am. See? The brass part on this bullet.
No, I didn't see anything like that.
Have you emptied your cleaner since you used it this morning?
No.
Wonder if we could see it.
Sure. I don't understand what this is all about, but if you want to see the vacuum, I'll get it.
If you want to tell me where it is, I'll get it for you.
Oh, it's no trouble. In the closet here in the hall.
Can I give you a hand with it?
It's not heavy. You want the attachments, too?
No, ma'am. Just the cleaner itself.
All right. There it is.
Mm-hmm. All right if we use a piece of this newspaper?
Sure, go ahead. I guess you know what you're doing.
This is the way you take the dust bag out?
Yeah, just flip that little catch on the side there.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll tell me what you're looking for, I might be able to help.
How about it, Ray?
Yeah. Here it is.
380?
Yeah.
What's all that mean?
Do you have another gun in the house, Miss Hamlin?
No.
You pretty sure about that?
Yes. What makes you think there might be another one?
Well, how many shots did you hear last night, Miss Hamlin?
What do you mean?
Well, just that. How many shots did you hear?
One.
You sure about that?
Yes, why?
We've got reason to believe that there were 2 shots fired.
What difference does it make how many there were?
Pretty big difference.
Why is it important? My husband killed himself. Can't be sure how many I heard. 1, 2, 3, half a dozen. What difference does it make?
Well, we'll try to explain it to you. Your husband was holding a .38 caliber revolver when we found him. But the bullet that killed him came from a .380 automatic.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you trying to say?
Well, I think you'll understand this. Your husband didn't kill himself.
You're not serious.
Afraid we are, ma'am.
This whole thing is ridiculous.
The evidence makes it true.
Who'd kill him? Who'd have a reason?
We'd like to know that, too.
What'd you get your mother, please?
What do you want to talk to her about?
What if you get it, please?
I'm not going to have her dragged into anything. She's had enough trouble. There's no reason for you to make any more.
Don't worry about it, Nora.
Mother, you shouldn't be out of bed.
I heard you talking. I've been listening. Haven't seen you before. You policeman, too?
No, ma'am. I'm Ray Pinker.
How do you do? Jessie Gaylor, Nora's mother.
How are you?
Now, what's all this about Mr. Hamlin not killing himself?
That's right, Miss Gaylor.
What makes you think it is?
A lot of things. Do you have a gun in the house?
You mean a pistol?
That's right.
Might. Why?
Where is it?
In the table there. Left-hand drawer.
I'll get it. How about it? 380. That gun belonged to you, Miss Gaylor?
Yes. My husband had it.
Mm-hmm.
All this talk about Mr. Hamlin. If he didn't kill himself, who do you think did?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out.
Uh-huh. But you got somebody you're looking at, haven't you? Somebody you figured did it?
This is your gun.
Uh-huh.
You're the only person who witnessed the shooting.
That's right.
Well, why don't you tell us about it?
Because if I did, you'd never believe it.
Well, give us a try. Huh?
All right. Mr. Hamlin came here last night, like I said. He was drunk. Came in and started yelling. I was sitting in that chair reading. He started to curse at me.
Yeah.
I didn't pay him no mind. Told him to go away. But Nora was through with him. He wouldn't go.
Yes, ma'am.
All of a sudden, he pulled out a gun and started waving it around. Said if I didn't get Nora, he'd kill himself. I thought it was just some more of his play acting.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't pay any attention to him. Figured when he was through, he'd go away. I went back to the book. Made him madder than ever.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed the book out of my hand and shot. Shot right at it. Then he threw it into the fireplace.
He threw your book into the fireplace, is that right?
That's right. Just all of a sudden, something happened to me. I don't think I've ever been so mad. I took the gun out of the table there and shot him. Got real scared and ran into the study. Closed the door behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I heard him lock the door and move something up to the door.
Must have been the chair.
Yeah, I guess it was. Right after that, I heard him fall down. Right after that, Nora came into the room.
Why didn't you tell me, Mother?
Wasn't any reason to. I had to think about it. But I'd done what I had to do. I was going to call you men this morning to tell you the truth. I really was. You believe that?
Well, I guess so.
I really was. Just all of a sudden last night when he shot my book, I've never been so mad. I really wanted to kill him.
You remember it all pretty well, don't you?
Yes, I do. All of it.
You want to get a coat, Miss Gaylor? We'll have to take you downtown.
Yes, sir. I'll do it right away.
Better go with her, Frank.
Yeah.
Is it going to be all right?
We don't decide that, ma'am.
But she told the truth. Isn't that going to make a difference?
We'll put it down that way. You want to get that book, Ray? We're going to need it.
Yeah.
She didn't say a word about it.
Yeah, I know. Story's still pretty hard to believe, isn't it?
Here we are. Here's the book Hamlin shot. Slug's still in it. Looks like a 38.
Mm-hmm.
Might have made her mad enough to kill him.
Yeah?
What is it, Mr. Friday?
Holy Bible.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 14th, trial was held in Department 96, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Jessie Margaret Gaylor was examined by 3 psychiatrists appointed by the court and found to be insane during the commission of the crime. A sanity hearing was held, and she was made a ward of the state. She was placed in the state hospital at Mendocino for treatment.
This week, a group of men are meeting in New Orleans for the 61st annual conference of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Dragnet is pleased to extend its best wishes to our top law enforcement officers and to thank them for the protection they give our homes and families. May their convention be an outstanding success.
Dragnet, the story of your police force in action, is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.